What's going on, guys? How you doing? Just getting all the technicals out of the way. What's going on, Donnie? What's going on, guys? How are you doing today, Donnie? Hey, Dylan. Where's the skinny guy? He's going to be joining us shortly. Jake Jacobs, the champion, is here. Jake, did you get your picks in? I haven't had a close look at all of the picks yet. What's going on, Untouchable Jay? I'm going to see if I can get chat set up on stream. There we go. Who wins tonight? I've got the Rams -1, Roderick. I'm good, man. I'm waiting for the Cowboys. What's the play? Over 52? Let me just quickly check to see if I can find the over-unders. 64% are on the over 52. I'd probably go under. That would be my play. That's it, J Peach. 6 and 7, Jake. Yeah, I think we're 5 and 8, so you're one up on us. Untouchable Jay's got props. What are they? Week 1 always sucks, Dylan. I don't know. The Saints played pretty well. Did anyone else take the Colts over the Jags? I had the Jaguars. But I did lose out on one of my, what's it called? I had San Fran lose. I needed San Fran to win today. Colts and the football team, baby. Oh, hell yeah. The Redskins defense looked impressive. The Jags got it done. I had Jags teased to 14 and 2 teasers. Nice, J Peach. It's too bad you didn't have them straight up. It would have been a little bit better payout. Goff over 24 completions. And Woods over 63.5 yards. It looks like the game just started. I've got to pull up the game for myself, guys. It'll just be a moment. Jags and Washington wiped out so many survivor picks, and Arizona wiped me out. Luckily, it's a 2-win game. Okay, I've got the audio really low. Hopefully, the fat guy can drown it out when he gets here. It looks like the fat guy's here. I'll admit him in. Hopefully, he's got some pants on. What's going on, fat guy?
How long I gotta wait in this dang waiting room?
I don't know. There's lots going on. I'm too busy listening to the anthem.
Oh, which one?
I don't know.
I wish it was a joke. Can't think of a name one. Well, it's good to be on top. Who does he have?
I'd have to double check. Still just getting everything organized.
JS715. I know who that is. He didn't go for the name.
I'll do.
How's your streams working?
Pretty good. When For some reason, when you joined, my video went away.
What do you mean?
It's like a Zoom. It's a Zoom thing. Sorry, guys. Bear with me.
I can see just fine.
Do you got the chat up?
No, that was the joke. I'm gonna bring it up in a moment.
Donnie said he's on the Cowboys. He says the Rams offense is not real. Roderick took Dallas -1. I'm on Rams -1. What's going on, Mickey? How you doing? Dylan's in the house as well. Jay Peach is on Dallas money line. FH for 150 -110. IT's Rams 6 under also.
Jake Jacobs is here.
Jake Jacobs, the champ, is in the building.
Yes. Jake, did you get your trophy? I think it said delivered when I last checked.
Jay Peach has one sock on, and I can only imagine where that sock is.
Well, you know what, please. Zeke first TD 4-1. I don't mind that. Who are some long shots here? What about like a Josh Reynolds touchdown? 16-1? 20 maybe?
I didn't check.
Wow, this is speaking hypothetically. I'm not sure there's a line out on that, but
Early penalty for DeMarcus Lawrence trying to get the jump on the snap. There we go.
his girlfriend's rocking a Redskins t-shirt.
Oh, nice. Oh, fat guy. Untouchable Jay's props for this game are Goff over 25 completions and Woods over 63.5 yards. He's pointing that out after a nice reception from Robert Woods.
I had some fantasy implications on Robert Woods and Jared Goff, so.
Cam Akers with his first touch.
Not you, look.
Jake said he's
game up and running.
Jake said he's traveling for a couple more weeks. He'll have to check on the trophy when he gets back home.
Sounds great. So I'm just getting my bearings straight here. Ooh, this is a nice screen.
Huge catch.
That had a good chance of going all the way, too.
Woods almost passes over 63.5 yards already on his first two catches.
Well, Infamous J might have a winning formula here.
Here's another catch for Woods. Picks up another 8 or 9 yards.
Yikes,
Cam Akers is a Mississippi boy.
I was such a big fan of Woods when he was in Buffalo. I always thought he was better than Sammy Watkins, and I admit having disdain for Watkins solely based on draft position.
Akers looks like he was a little bit short there. It's going to be 3rd and inches for the Rams. It's hard to count the Rams out with their coaching.
There's got to be some regret with being with McVay not being aggressive enough in certain spots, because like, I don't know, he has the horses in some spots, and I don't know, he's like the Super Bowl regret. He just had such a vanilla thing. He has the capability to run non-vanilla stuff. I just think they should do it more often than they do. This is a nice starting drive, though. Let's be real. Oh, I hope it's not false start.
It looks like it is.
Or did it delay a game? Oh, way to shoot yourself in the foot. I mean, they could get it, and then it's a moot point, but... Hey, Dylan.
Oh, they let that McVay timeout stand. I'm surprised by that.
Hey, Dylan, what did you say about Jacksonville? I'm just curious. I forget.
Meanwhile, it gives us a chance to look at that Cowboy defense. Got a lot of studs up front. What a story Aldon Smith is.
Aldon Smith back playing and starting for the Cowboys.
That's amazing. Few people realize that he had maybe the best rookie season of a defensive player since Lawrence Taylor. He was such a good player. That 49ers defense was amazing. I mean,
3rd and inches, easily picked up by Malcolm Brown.
Good start. Good start, Rams.
What's going on, Zivono? How you doing?
All right,
welcome back.
Haven't seen you in some time. Glad to see you're alive and well, hopefully. Hope the fires aren't affecting you too much. Nice touchdown. Good start, Rams. Doing all right? Okay.
Well, an excellent start for the Rams offense.
Nice statement drive, eh?
Yeah, I'm checking to see. Robert Woods is up to 60 yards. Only a couple. He needs 4 more yards.
Yeah, 50%'s all right. Yeah, Mickey. That's the contest is difficult in that you have to pick every game. Like, I didn't like that Cleveland-Baltimore game, but I don't know. I had to take a side.
Well, fat guy, I bet the Browns today.
Oh, I didn't know
Boy, do I have egg on my face.
You sure do. Four more yards? Is that all you need for Woods?
Yep, he's already at 60.
Dude, that's got to be like the quickest overhit ever almost. Assuming he does, the game's not over.
Volksfest is back. Get financing from 0% for 72 months plus complimentary 3 years maintenance.
Yeah. I'm wearing my Cleveland gear because in the contest we're not exactly winners, and I thought I'd share the grief with Cleveland, who had another very Cleveland performance in Week 1. How's fantasy going? Pretty well for me, I got to be honest.
During these commercials, I can pull it up.
I think I got 4 teams going. I'm gonna go 3-1, more than likely. If Goff lights it up, though, there's a chance I could win that one, too. Oh, Goff and Woods, oddly enough. The Atlanta one I don't really have regrets about, even though that hurt me financially in just about every... Financially, I thought it was a survivor pick. I picked Atlanta. Vintage Seahawks performance. I don't really regret it, but I mean, because it's a kind of a comedy of errors, so I feel like it was on one of the more unlikely of things. I'm trying to think of what picks I regret taking. That's a really, really good question. Let me look them over. That's a good question. San Francisco. I don't like laying that many points, and it's uncouth. It's rare for me to do that in that spot. That's one I'd like back.
Chiefs managed to cover 10 points. Green Bay with the upset at plus 2.5.
Minor
Chicago with another upset, I guess you could say, at plus 1.5. Jacksonville wins straight up. Yeah, the DeAndre Swift dropping the touchdown with under 10 seconds. New England covered with the points at 6.
Well, picked last is the guy that is right behind you, Dylan. The guy that just wrote. Jake is picked last. Yeah. SF for sure. The SF pick is bad. Just not because of the result, but just because that's too many points. It's a divisional game. I'm not a fan of that one now. I think Atlanta I can live with. The San Francisco, no. Yeah. I felt that. I just didn't like all the hype surrounding Miami's at Bono, and there was a lot of shade thrown at New England, right? So I'm happy that the Saints covered because I really like that game as well. They didn't just cover. Saints were way better.
What a difference he's made since he's been here. It was 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Use my jacket as a microphone mount.
Dak's career really took off once he got here too.
Nice early run from Ezekiel Elliott.
This is one set of jerseys I don't like. The Cowboys ones seem just very plain and 90s.
Oh, I don't mind them. They're classic. The Chargers jerseys today, like those were, I don't know what they're thinking
hilarious.
there.
They don't look that much different than these Rams ones, though, oddly enough. Oh, do you want me to get louder, Mickey? I think Big Rye can turn me up a bit.
Yeah, I might have him a little bit lower.
I have like a really booming voice, which I'm sure you guys know, so I usually get turned down a little bit because,
Okay,
for the sake of everyone's ears.
His voice should be better now.
Yeah, we'll do a little test with this. Test.
Yeah, you're good now. That's my bad, guys. Thanks
a lot
for
of big hits
giving us a
today.
heads up.
Who's the one who I saw the biggest hit was headshot from Jamal Adams on, I think, Russell Gage. Seahawks Atlanta game. It was brutal, and he got hit in the lower back, too. Yeah, it's better good. I didn't understand that. The Cowboys are starting a UDFA at right tackle. Once mighty O-line is reduced to that, I mean, maybe he's earned it. Maybe he's good. This looks like a sack, an Aaron Donald sack. I hope they give him the full one rather than a half, but we'll see in the stat line when they do the corrections on Tuesday. What an interior. Brockers and Donald for what? Both first-round picks that have stayed with the Rams their entire career. So it's got to be, what, 5 years going on? Maybe 6? Could be 7 even.
Donald with his first sack of the season.
Aaron Donald's the best player in the league. It's arguable. I actually still think it's Russell Wilson. But, I mean, defensive player, it's hard to argue Aaron Donald. I'm going to make there's an interesting argument for Shaquille Barrett considering the season he had last year. He had 6 forced fumbles, 19.5 sacks, as well as the most tackles for a loss. So he was effective in pass rushing as well as run defense. But, I mean, that was maybe a freak season. Maybe it was good usage. So he didn't do nearly that stuff when he was in Denver, but then maybe didn't use him.
Corey says, welcome back, guys. Very interesting stuff today. The Niners losing outright was a shocker. I knew they wouldn't cover, but to outright lose. And he said it's been too long since we've had the fat guy's soothing vocals.
Yeah, I would hardly call my robot voice soothing, but...
What's going on, going crazy? Welcome to the stream.
Maybe you can walk through the camera. I'm just going to see his shirt. A Redskins shirt, no less. I bought a lot of... My girlfriend and I bought a lot of Redskins gear before you couldn't anymore. I mean, they're going to take everything. The Chiefs are coming next.
Die Eagles die.
Oh, I like the football team. I like the Redskins this week. That was a nice one. They have a serious front seven.
Corey, I might. We'll see. He asked if I'm going to do more analytics handicapping videos like we had in the playoffs. There's a chance I might.
So am I, Zidvono. Don't worry. I have to listen to this voice every day. It's a nightmare. Trust me. Especially when I talk way too much. And our videos, it's mostly me talking. Brutal. I know.
I'm definitely back to... I'm very happy to be back on stream for these like Thursday, Sunday, Monday night games, because it's painful to watch these games without, other stuff going on.
Lately, yeah. It's yeah.
Belichick
counts with a blunt right now.
A blunt.
There's one thing I drew from that game that I found very interesting is they're gonna run Cam to the ground. Like, there were so many designed runs, and he took punishment, but they're gonna lay it out, and they might. I think they're contenders. I really do think the Patriots are contenders. So, I mean, that might just be me, but it was interesting. I think the offense, they're gonna be okay. How about those Jets? We bought them low, and they look terrific today. Yeah, that's sometimes the breaks, Corey. It's sometimes the breaks. But don't forget, there are other nice buy lows. I was really satisfied with Jacksonville as well as the Washington football team, formerly the Redskins. 8 sacks from the Washington team. Yeah, their front seven is for real, Jay. Like, Chase Young is as advertised. How was I going to say? I haven't got the greatest look at that game. I had other games going on for the most part. Big Ryan and I are going to rewatch it, and I'm really going to get a good look at it. But it looks like the sacks were spread around. Chase Young looks like he's probably the real deal. They got a serious front seven.
I had that game on with multiple games for the early games, but I'm really, really excited to watch that game again and see what kind of pressure they were able to get.
The thing, Zidvono, about New England is they're good at just getting the most out of their personnel. They're the first team to switch O linemen like midstream. Pats will win the division. I wouldn't be surprised. I think they're a favorite. I really do. Nothing against the Bills, and the Bills could very well do it. Even Miami could. Of course, the Jets, there's a percentage, but I would venture to say the Jets' percentage is about 5%. However, that being said, I think that the Patriots are a clear favorite in my mind.
We've spent so much time going through players and kind of trying to figure out who's good, who's bad. Like, I'm really simplifying things right now. But what it really comes down to is coaching is so, so, so important, especially when it comes to winning, especially when it comes to covering.
Look at Detroit. Detroit is an average team, and they fail to even get close to that mark every year.
Yeah. Whereas Miami was the complete opposite last year. They played so much better than they should have, considering their roster. But you look at the roster, and it makes you think, it makes you just think, oh, this team's shit. They're never going to win a game. And you fail to remember sometimes how important coaching is. And the Pats still have Belichick. They still have most of their coaching staff. And it makes a difference.
Between Belichick, Reed, but my favorite might be Harbaugh, though. Harbaugh gets their roster pillaged through free agency because they can't afford it, because they've done such a good job coaching these guys up. And look at this defense that they came out. The Browns have a lot of money invested in that offense, and they weren't able to do diddly against pretty much a fresh Baltimore defense. Very nice.
I was thinking about those exact two teams today, Fat Guy. And it's amazing because the Browns do have more top-end talent than Baltimore because of the draft, because of the high picks over the last, 10, 15 years.
Well,
and it just doesn't...
That are with the team at least 4.
Yeah, and it doesn't translate because the coaching is just so much better. The depth that Baltimore has is just so much stronger and used so much better by the coaching staff than it ever has been in Cleveland. And I know it's tough to say that after one game for Kevin what's his name?
Kevin
Stefanski.
Stefanski.
And it's just
I'm still holding out hope because I think they know this is a work in progress. But this is the most optimistic I've been about the Browns. Them losing to Baltimore does nothing to me. So, Corey, Andy, I want to go back to something you said about the Bucks. That's very 22% of the money for the title. Exactly. The one thing is though, the Bucks could lose. Like if they have performances like they did this afternoon, they're gonna lose the betting public's faith eventually, and then it might be good to bet on them at some point, right? Because I think that could shift, just because they're like the Buccaneers aren't a popular team to bet on already. Like the Steelers just have the name. Because think about when people make decisions, they use their gut feeling. So they like teams like the Steelers and the Packers. Those always have strong positive feelings because they've never there's never been a long stretch of the Steelers or the Packers that have been bad. New England is now that because young bettors don't know of a New England that's ever been bad. But the Brady thing, I think, offered value this first week. And I kind of like how New England won because it wasn't a blowout, but I thought it was pretty decisive. So I still think there's going to be value on them going forward if they play someone good. But the Bucks are still riding high. There's still a sell high team, I think. But if they get blown out, against a mediocre to bad team, I think that could change.
an important down here for the Rams, 3rd and 7.
Did Woods go
It's
over?
like a modified screen. They're going to be just short. The Rams are going to have a decision to make here. They're on the 41-yard line, 4th and 1. I'm assuming they're going for it, and it doesn't even look like they're hesitating. They're getting right up to the line of scrimmage. Goff in shotgun. Woods in motion. They hand it off, and they get it. Really good run from Malcolm Brown. I want to go back to what Mickey Hill said about how did Josh Allen look today, and Josh Allen looked terrific. I watched that game pretty closely, and he's still inconsistent. Like, you're not going to get 100% from him every play, and that's not effort-wise. It's like he missed, I think it was John Brown in the back of the end zone for an easy touchdown. Like, you're going to get those plays where he's just inaccurate and makes those bad plays, but overall the guy's a winner. Like, Josh Allen just does what it takes to win for the Bills every week. And on the ground, he's probably the second most dangerous behind Lamar Jackson. I can't think of any quarterback. Maybe Cam Newton. After those two guys, he's probably the third most dangerous guy on his feet.
There you go. That's some pretty in-depth stuff there. The Bills are listed as 3-point 4K. Hopefully, public just look at the scores in those games because Miami wasn't really close. The Jets weren't close. Miami was a bit closer. There was that, but I mean, they had that. What was it? A fumble that for a touchback. I don't know. I just thought. I just thought this was a really good performance from the Patriots, who looked good on defense too. Because this Miami team isn't that bad. It really isn't. And like Zitvono said before, there wasn't any cohesion. 60% of the roster in Week 1 last year, whereas was new to the team, right? And it took some while. They got blown out, but they got good at the end. They beat Indianapolis on the road. They beat New England on the road, I believe, too, as 18.5 point underdogs. It's pretty good. Pretty good stuff.
This Rams offense has been strong to start this game. There have been just positive play after positive play. It looks like Robert Woods is still sitting at 60 yards. I don't think he has a catch yet on this drive.
Yeah, Belichick's a G, Corey.
Goff's already up to 7 completions.
Yeah, 7 for what, 9? 7 for 8?
I think he's 7 for 8.
That's fantastic. Higbee was a big fantasy name. I never understood that one. So I always thought Gerald Everett was more of the big play guy, but I mean, doesn't look to be the case here.
A nice run from Cam Akers. Big hit
This
at the
is
end
what
of that
me
run.
and Big Rye always talk about is you only add a few percentage points with a running back. I mean, Cam Akers, does anyone really know anything about him? No. That's a fine run. Malcolm Brown.
His big thing was, we're not going to do a lot. We're just going to do it great.
Corey, I think it's more the management side of it that Rivers brings. They want a guy like Tom Brady in that they make changes at the line. They're able to audible to runs. That's more what they're looking for because the Colts are really built to win now. It's an unfortunate result in the first week. They lost to arguably the worst team in the league that put up a great performance. Henderson getting a
generous spot. It looks like they're going to get the first down.
Swift folding the clutch along with the secondary. Yeah. The Anthony Miller touchdown was unfortunate. Michigan backhand, of course, referencing the drop touchdown for the very disappointing Detroit Lions. He missed the block, and he still got it. That was great.
Yeah, that was really nice from Henderson.
9-7 with the toughest division in the NFL. It's hard to argue that the Rams, Seahawks, 49ers, and Cardinals aren't the best division in the league. Because who's made probably the worst team? Maybe the Cardinals, and then hard to tell me they're a bad team, the Cardinals. Nice to see Aldon Smith, though. I got Swift in fantasy. Yeah, that's not going to help hit Mickey Hill, but I mean, fantasy's a tough one. I'm sure you're going to get to enjoy it a little bit. So waiver picks, I think they get cleared on was it Tuesday or Wednesday morning, Big Rye?
I think it's Wednesday. They usually have the day listed it, and I'm sure it depends on which. I think it's Wednesday.
That looks like a Woods over to me. It's within a yard.
Yeah, waivers are Wednesday morning.
Yeah, so you can switch out your guys after Monday. Oh, did Stanford Wong? I haven't read his book in a long time. I have it. I've read it plenty of times. But if his suggestion is that devastating losses are usually good teams to bet on, well, yeah, probably because there's a few points of value. Because, public likes winners, hates losers, overvalues one, undervalues another. It's the same old game we're always playing, you know. There might be some value on Cleveland and Atlanta next week. So the Jags, I wonder where that's gonna settle. Who are the Jags playing?
Jacksonville next week they play at Tennessee.
Oh,
Tennessee is 10-point favorites early on.
Yeah. He missed that? Come on, man. Cincinnati's at Cleveland. Oh. Here's a good one. Aaron Rodgers going crazy had maybe the best performance I've seen him in about 2 years. He made two ridiculous passes. You guys explain to Dylan what a flex position is. So Dylan, a flex position. Hey, Kat. Dylan, a flex position is either a running back, wide receiver, or tight end. It's an extra position for points.
All the 6 a.m. practices and the post-game crashes. The injuries that felt larger than life and the victories that were. These big moments aren't possible.
Is Myles Garrett playing?
He played today.
Yeah, he played today. Because he got reinstated.
Yep.
Yeah, he got one tackle.
I watched the first 3 quarters of the Browns game, and Myles Garrett was definitely playing.
And he had a fumble recovery. That's the game I missed the most where I was. So.
It's your internet. Thank you, and good night.
No. Hey, we can change. We'll change.
To faster internet speeds, Pure
Corey said, one thing I noticed today is that the Chargers didn't seem to pressure Burrow much with Bosa and Ingram.
That's concerning, considering that's probably the worst O-line that the Chargers are going to face all year. And if you're not able to get pressure from against if you're not able to get pressure against the Bengals, then you're in trouble.
See, Corey and Mickey, I think you guys are both right, because really what we are trying to do is find value, and sometimes there's a huge blowout and that value doesn't translate. Like a team like Tampa Bay is a good example, and there was something said on TV by one of the commentators that made me think, that's weird, because Tampa did not play well today, but they said at the end of the game they just dismissed it and said, oh, well, they have Brady, so they're going to be fine going forward, which I think is a dangerous way to look. And the lines makers will set lines based on those perceptions. So I think betting a team like Tampa next week is dangerous. And I'm just assuming that because I'm projecting what the line will be with whoever they're going to play. Whereas a team like the Browns lost poorly, and I think everyone sees the Browns play and go, that team sucks. I think everyone saw the Jets play. They're going to go, that team sucks. And I think you're going to have value betting the Browns. I think you'll have value betting the Jets, where you're not going to have that same value on the Tampa Bay loss that was considered a bad loss.
Yeah, it'll take a little bit more. The one thing, though, is the Browns, it might not be as damning because they'll bring up a useless stat in talking about how the Browns haven't done historically on week one, even though those are different teams. And think about it this way: whenever there's always going to be a team that's on the high end of doing really, really well on week one, and one team that's going to be on the low end, which is the Browns. It just happens to be a coincidence. The Browns are a bad franchise, and therefore they're more likely to have bad week ones. Touching on what Big Rye said, I think maybe the perfect storm next week is Philadelphia is playing the Rams. And if the Rams are able to have a really good performance, like what they're doing right now, they continue for 4 quarters, there's going to be value on Philly. I can promise you that much. Because Philly's not as bad as they've shown. They had 2 offensive linemen playing their first game. And they lost to Washington, which is a total black eye.
Yeah. Like if the Rams win by 14 or 21 points tonight, I could see that line being a pick 'em. And it opened at like 3, 2.5, depending on where you're at. So you're essentially getting 10% value if the Rams blow out tonight.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And the thing that a lot of people don't understand not our live stream guys, like you guys kind of get it now, because playing in the contest, these games are on razor thin margins, razor thins, but 10% is the world. You know what I mean? Think of a trader where you could tell them you can make 10% on this trade, and it's only going to take a couple hours. That's absolutely fantastic value. I mean, we're talking on the high end. It might be a little less than that, but it's still very good value, regardless of what happens.
Marcus,
Bears versus Giants. Who y'all like?
I'm hoping that the Giants get blown out big time, so that line moves up to about 7, and then I would like the Giants.
Then I would take the Giants, yeah.
But it's still too early. If the Giants could win by 40 against Pittsburgh, and then that game might be a pick 'em.
Yeah, and then there'd be value on the Bears.
Yeah.
If they have an okay performance, the line will stick at 5. I'd probably take the Giants, but 5 is about right. Sorry we give these terrible answers, Marcus, but I mean they're real. It's the only thing. Like sports, wow. Gallup with a great play. A lot of guys like sports talk radios, they're paid to talk. Like they're paid to sound interesting, and they make definitive calls one way or another. And it's just it's very more of a gray area with every selection.
Well, you know what I love is like the pardon the interruption. It did it a little bit, and then it got like super over exaggerated by Skip Bayless and whoever his co-host is at the time, where they just pick 2 opposite sides and yell at each other about which side's better, even though neither of them believe either one.
Yeah.
I always find that funny.
They don't even have a point of reference. Lions play Green Bay, send Detroit to heaven. I can tell you, I haven't quite seen the line yet, but I bet you it's going to be probably a Detroit play.
Untouchable Jay, I thought you said talking about blowjobs, Dylan getting creamed in fantasy.
Is he really?
Yeah, by the one and only Mickey Hill.
Mickey's laying him the pipe again? Oh.
That's why he still calls him daddy. I can bring that up here. Team Hill versus Team Pride. Sorry, there's an injury. Oh, no. Van Der Esch is getting checked for, it looks like a neck injury, and he's gone to the back.
That is bad. That's really bad. So I'm looking up the fantasy matchups.
Here we go. Team Hill versus Team Pride.
You putting it up on screen?
Yep. Dylan still has Derrick Henry and James Conner, but he's got to make up 40 points against Mickey.
It's doable. It's tough, though. That's the good thing about fantasy.
And Mickey Hill still has CeeDee Lamb to play tonight.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb hasn't yet splashed the score sheet, but Hill got he got Raheem Mostert, New England's defense. Christian McCaffrey. This is a good start. Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray had a big rushing touchdown at the end of the game.
Oh, my comment, Zidvono, was that if the Rams have a really good dominant performance, if they continue to play like this, that there's going to be a favorable line shift in the way of Philadelphia, because they'll have a lot less clout losing to. Speaking of CeeDee Lamb, they'll have a lot less clout losing to the Redskins or Washington football team. That's going to happen all year, just so you guys know.
And Zidvono, if that game's a pick'em right now, the line has opened up at 3 or 2.5 at some books early on, so there's already value in taking the Rams if you are a fan of 538's projections. Oh, they gave CD 88. I didn't even notice that. I haven't seen him in his jersey yet. I missed that catch. That's
Mickey, by the way, to give you a heads up about fantasy, in a 12-team league, the average, I would say, is about 90. And so 115 is good.
Would
you say 90, Big Ride?
I think I remember reading about it a couple of years ago. The average was 89 points.
Yeah, okay. I had a good estimation then.
Well, it's funny when the average score is 89 or 90 points, but everyone's projected at 100.
Yeah.
And we also have the Boston Bastards League. This one is another close matchup for you, fat guy. Or this is probably the close matchup for you.
Yeah.
But you're excellent touchdown from Ezekiel Elliott. I was just going to say you're not likely to win this one, but that Elliott touchdown helps you out a lot.
Helps who? Me? I don't have Elliott.
You've got Elliott in the Boston Bastards League.
Oh, right, yes. What a play. I wouldn't say that. Mickey's in the bag. Dylan, no chance. He's got a chance. That's why now there's a reason for Dylan to watch every game.
Who's the best Cowboys all-time? 88.
It's got to be Irvin. Who knows how Lamb does, though. Des Bryant is in the conversation.
Is Des Bryant really better than Michael Irvin?
Anyone want Drake? What? Hey, poke around. Everyone wants a running back.
I thought it was impressive that the Cardinals are one of the first teams I've seen in recent history to use two backs successfully in a game. It seemed like every down they had Chase Edmonds and Kenyon Drake on the field. I haven't gone through the snap numbers, and that's probably not true, but it seemed like they were on the field together a lot.
They did that a little bit in the Raiders Panthers game with Booker and Jacobs.
Panthers at +8. Hope the public gives us a line movement. Who's Drew Pearson, Mickey?
Oh,
for best all time.
Yeah, he was that was way back before we were born, Big Rye.
He had 7,800 receiving yards in 156 games.
We show ourselves in what we own, what we choose to love.
Is he in the Hall? I don't think he's in the Hall of Fame though.
That bring us joy, our families,
God, what a career though, eh?
and more than just
7,800 yards is great.
our lives with memories, beauty,
Well, according to AV for Pro Football Reference,
because when we do, we
Michael Irving would be considered
colorful life.
the top number 88 of all time, and Drew Pearson would be second. Des Bryant would be third. And then it's not even close for anybody else. Did DJ Shark get hurt today? I'll check for you.
Not that I know of. The big injury is Marlon Mack, which hurts a lot of my fantasy implications, but that's part of the game.
There's no news on him getting hurt, so I think he is fine.
Made first with wholesome whole grain oats. Nature Valley Lunchbox, the perfect tasting peanut.
Yeah, there's no news on him getting injured, so he might have got dinged up or sat at the end. I'm not sure.
Available in cinnamon and oats and honey. Stains can appear out of thin air, but when you get to work, magic happens. The real trick is the next one up your sleeve. We make OxyClean, you make it work.
So I'll get back to a question that the fat guy asked me earlier. He wanted to know. I can't think of a name.
These crews get the job done. Just like that. A new season of Highway Through Hell.
Who they had for today. And they've got the Rams +3, as well as Pittsburgh and Tennessee.
International Airport. In fact, they had to dig a hole 100 feet into the ground so to not impede the flight path on final approach. That took a long time, and
Sounds like the game is back on.
Yep.
What about Kittle? I know he came out. I feel like Kittle came back in, though. Let me...
I'm pretty sure he came back in. He's a key cog for your team, Mickey.
Yeah, he hurt his leg in the second quarter, but returned for the third, so it can't be too bad. And in his post-game interview, he said losing sucks, and he feels great. So I think Kittle is fine.
Classic George.
Good run from Malcolm Brown.
Fantastic. How did Gronk do? He didn't finish. What did he finish with, like 10 yards?
He had one catch where he didn't look exactly nimble, let's say.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what he finished with. Yeah, he finished with 2 catches for 11 yards.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
O.J. Howard looked dangerous in the passing game. He finished with 4 catches and a touchdown.
Does it make sense why Murray had 13 more points than Breeze? He does call a beautiful game, Mickey. All right, I'll explain it. Dylan.
Quarterbacks can get points for running the ball, for rushing touchdowns as well. So players like Kyler Murray that can run the ball usually will put up more points than a guy like Breeze. For Breeze, you need him to have like 300, 400 yards, 3 or 4 touchdowns. That's what you're looking for a good fantasy day from a passing quarterback. There's a catch for fantasy favorite Tyler Higbee.
Because Dylan, it has nothing to do with performance. It has everything to do with statistics, right? Like Matt Ryan put up points, but like he wasn't a good performance. Kyler Murray, this is why he got lots of points. He got 90 yards rushing and a rushing touchdown. That's 15. That's massive, man. That's massive.
So that's why he had 13 points more. So as 2 passing players, Breeze actually had 2 more points than him, but he picked up another 15 points in rushing.
Yeah, so Breeze doesn't have the you're not going to get that out of him, right? Yeah,
Mickey
Cam
Wynn.
did good because
Go ahead.
Cam
fat guy.
again rushed a lot too.
Yeah,
So did Joe Burrow.
Josh Allen had a really good rushing day.
He had 2 touchdowns, right?
I'd have to double check. I know he had 1 for sure. Cam Newton was in the top 5 every year he was healthy for fantasy points, and that was because he's essentially the goal line back. At least he was in Carolina. And I got a feeling he's going to be used very, very similar in New England.
Yeah, they're gonna abuse him this year, but they're going for it. That's why I think if he stays healthy, I hate using the term if he stays healthy, but this is actually a team that I think is really dangerous with a healthy Cam Newton, just because they're going to use him properly as a dual threat.
I think Newton has stayed pretty healthy for his career and played most of his games. I think the wear and tear took
foot
him,
and shoulder injuries though, Big Rye.
Yeah, but he looked good today. I know
he did.
One of our friends who's a huge Cam Newton fan was very, very excited by how he looked and said he looks better than he ever has. And I have to believe him because that guy, our friend, watches him more closely than anyone else I know.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Dylan, you don't have that bad a team, and this isn't over. You understand? You can still win the whole thing, Dylan. The fantasy, there's more to it. And if you like a guy, you can drop a player from your team and pick up that guy. Like, that's how this works. It's a never-ending thing, really.
And quarterback's the easiest position to find a replacement and play different players and play matchups more so than most other positions.
Rams are different with Cooper Kupp. I agree. I think he's one of the most dangerous receivers from a scoring standpoint, and it gives him a little bit of versatility. I'm going to go back to what Mickey said. McVay can call a beautiful game. And not that they had failure last year at 9-7, but they didn't meet expectations, and I hope he gambles a bit more this year.
Yeah, and the outside contain this time, it really was Goff trying to get outside of Emerson Griffin. He just couldn't get out there. So when he pulled it up, he thought because he was running a bootleg, he could just throw it away, but he was still inside that tackle box.
Word comes down now that Van Der Esch is officially out.
So Van Der Esch is out for the game with a collarbone injury.
That is terrible news.
So he's probably going to be out maybe for the rest of the season. If for adults, it takes 6 to 8 weeks for a broken collarbone to heal. So like half of Van Der Esch's season might be done.
That's an injury you can play through, though, Big Rye. I know from experience.
I don't know.
Everson Griffin may be maybe one of the most offside jumpy players in the league. Happens to him again.
2nd and 15 for the Rams. Oh, and a drop from Malcolm Brown.
Man, these screens are great, though. These guys have a lot of space. That was a brutal drop, but
Knew it was man coverage, and the center comes out and knocks the coverage guy off of the back. That should have been a big one. That's a clever play right there.
That would have been a big play.
Here, and as that linebacker goes to try and pick up the coverage, it's going to knock it right off. And if he catches that, they're rolling.
Instead of third and
Oh, that would have been huge. That might have gone the distance.
by Everson Griffin.
Nice play by Everson Griffin.
For the penalty. And it's gonna be
Now,
fourth
they're
down.
going to settle for a chip shot that would seem to be impossible, considering the effort of the last kick.
Did you see the end of the Chargers Bengals game?
No, I didn't.
Run a few sprints.
I heard, though.
Yeah, Bengals had
Feel
a
bad for the Bengals.
Randy Bullock had a 31-yard kick to tie the game, and I don't know what he did to his leg, but he definitely got injured.
Is not very high at all on the upright, and
Oh, he kicked the ground.
John Fossil's over there going, guys, maybe we should rush right up the gut here. That thing's not very high. We might get one.
Only got a single doink, not a double on that one. 35-yard attempt to try to give him the lead, and again it's low.
He gets that one. So Rams take a 3-point lead.
Those are ugly kicks.
Remaining in the half, and the
Yep.
Rams leading the Cowboys 10-7 on Sunday Night Football.
Sorry.
This second quarter is brought to you by Expedia. Imagine the places we'll go together.
So for betting percentages, the Rams had 36% of bets for this game, but 49% of the money was on the Rams. So money split pretty evenly, but public bettors definitely on the Cowboys, as usual.
Snowmobiles in the wintertime, boats in the summer. The fact that I can start my car with the phone is fantastic, especially in Winnipeg. Sometimes we call it winter bay.
Ford, thank you for making this amazing truck. Me and my family love it so much.
You said it, now get it. You pay what we pay, but not for long. Ford employee pricing ends soon.
Here.
Being here matters.
Here.
And healthy habits in the classroom can help keep them here. Introducing Here for Healthy Schools, a program from Lysol dedicated to curbing the spread of illness-causing germs in classrooms by teaching healthy habits, partnering with medical professionals, and arming schools.
Mickey said that the under was almost identical value.
Make sure children understand the importance of being
That I believe.
here. Learn about our mission.
We really got to spend a summer doing homework on over/under. We've just been so abysmal at it that it's been, I guess, a deterrence. It's because, you know, kind of when people don't play games that they're not good at. That's one of the things we've never been successful at. We can both attest to. We'd be giving a lot of unders, though. I can tell you that right off the get-go.
Well, there's probably value on taking every single under.
Pretty close. When you have two defensive teams, I would take the over. Obviously, just standard contrarian approach. We don't have the data to back this stuff up, though.
So you want to build a stadium. New stadium costs. You've got U.S. Bank in Minneapolis, 1.1. AT&T in 09. Finished there at 1.2. Levi, San Francisco. You got Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta, MetLife in the Meadowlands, 1.6. Allegiant, the new stadium for Vegas. And then there's this.
What?
$5 billion. Almost the worth of the.
Are the Rams in their new stadium?
So you see,
Yeah.
Jones, Cowboys
Yeah, they are.
And their stadium cost $5 billion?
instrumental
Yeah.
in getting this deal done with the NFL. A number of years ago, there was a possibility that the Raiders and the Chargers were trying to build a stadium in Carson.
Yeah, Mickey, I had that thought that the under
But Jerry,
with no preseason would have more value for this, at least the first week, maybe the first couple weeks.
and the man who had the money
There's a
But
lot
I
of high
haven't
scoring,
actually-
though.
I actually haven't looked at the scores.
they could not get this
It looks like most games went over,
here instead. Kroenke said, I'm going
just
to
at
build.
a
He didn't
glance.
say a palace, but it turned out to be a palace.
Definitely turned out to be a palace.
And Jerry did. And Jerry told the league, hey, this is our guy. He's going to build a stadium in Los Angeles. And Jerry really wanted the NFL to come back to LA after for a 2-decade absence. It's the number 2 market in the country.
They definitely had a few issues along the way getting that thing built, and believe it or not, rain being one of the biggest ones, right?
Sure. C.D. Lamb to the 32-yard.
C.D. Lamb looks small.
Well, Jerry Jones told me he spent
Oh, she have a clout like that.
Stan Kroenke walking through the stadium and surroundings, and he said he loved every minute of it. He loves the huge columns here, but he said the number one thing about the stadium is the roof, which gives the effect of being outside. There are those columns. He told me I could go on and on. It's a masterpiece and a huge, huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
And a great gift to the city of Los Angeles. 3rd down and 3. A lot of great stuff will take place in this stadium as Prescott takes off and he'll run
It's a process.
a first down. For instance, the
Nice run from Prescott on 3rd down to pick up the first down.
Olympics, the opening ceremony will be held here.
Everyone's expecting a big year from Prescott. He went way up in fantasy rankings. He got a huge contract. Cowboys win totals are big. They invested in another first-round receiver. A lot riding on him.
He played really well last year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I'm saying the expectations are even greater, I would say. I found it interesting that they said that he had the biggest house. But up until this year, he was only making $400,000 a year. So probably some dubious interest rates were paid, but
I was here for the Rams scrimmage a couple of weeks ago. You can get a sunburn. So bring your sunscreen. There it is. You sit on the east side of the stadium. The sun comes right through.
And the scoreboard is amazing. I mean, it really is. Jerry Jones's in their stadium is fantastic, but this one is really unique.
Al Michaels talking about sunburns and stuff.
Play action. Prescott steps away from
Aaron Donald gets through,
Tony Pollard.
but Prescott manages to check it down to Pollard, and Pollard makes the most out of it for yards after the catch.
Al, one of the things that surprised
Pollard's got to be one of the best. I was thinking who the best backup running backs. Tony Pollard, and I was going to say Latavius Murray, but they kind of went a little hot hand with the Saints, despite having a very weak run game. And I don't know. They seem to go to him, but he had more success running in between the tackles, which doesn't surprise me.
100-yard performances last year in tandem with Elliott. The pressure on the pass is low and incomplete.
It's hard to give anyone the backup running back tag nowadays with how evenly split snaps are between running backs for most teams.
Scenery for number 54.
Mickey Hill said he was rereading a book from Josh Applebaum. He was talking to us about last year. He said since 2003, Vegas is something like 17-30 to 17-29 favorites versus dogs. If they're that close, it's just unbelievable.
It's, I don't know, at the same time, that's what's most likely to happen. Like, there's
Yeah,
a
I guess
reason
that's
why.
true.
If they give too much edge either way, then people like us are going to eat it up.
Yeah, that's true. But just how good the market is.
Yeah, the market really sets itself. The books are just there to take money.
Yeah, on either side.
Also, that's one of those stats where you could easily pick from, like, they could have made it 2005 because maybe favorites went, 20 better.
Yeah.
Like,
I know
it's,
what you're saying.
it's, that's, it's still something. Untouchable Jay said he's been teasing games today. Dogs money.
The former Rams zero line now for a 53-yard attempt.
Greg, the leg out.
A lot of missed kicks today.
And there's another.
Rams get it up by 3.
Yeah. Well, because think about it. They get a guaranteed commission if they balance Mickey, so it's good.
And the other thing that I like, Fat Guy, that we found was just how much more money the books make off of what's it called? when you pick multiple games.
Oh, parlays.
Yeah, parlays.
Oh,
It's
it's
unreal.
the biggest argument.
It's unreal. Because
Yeah,
they'll make like 5 to 10% on spreads and over unders and all that, and then they make what 30 to 40% a year on parlays.
Yeah, on a good year, yeah, 30 to 40% ROI.
So for every, they're making 30% return on every dollar bet on a parlay, which is
they get 30 cents on the dollar on parlays.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's just it's crazy.
And if you're looking for value, they lost a couple years on baseball in the last 20 years. Like the pros beat them.
Yeah.
Baseball does offer traditionally the lowest commission, so that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
But that just tells you that's why we hate discouraging. Well, we don't hate discouraging. We hate crushing people's dreams and stuff, but parlays is just not the way to go. If you're doing it for entertainment purposes, sure. If you're trying to get ahead in the game and you're trying to learn, don't do it.
You like highlights? I think we're going to have some highlights. A jam-packed Week 1 wraps up with a Monday Night Football doubleheader.
This is going to be fun.
Big Ben is back as the Steelers battle Barkley and the Giants. To the house! Then the Smash Mouth Titans square off with the Broncos. You want toughness? You got it. Monday
I'm gonna open it.
doubleheader. Here we go.
You sure?
Come out and have a good time on TSN. What a night!
One of the great stories around right now, Alden Smith got his life together, 7th overall.
Do you think part of this Alden Smith highlight package is going to be him slamming on the gas against a tree trunk while he was drunk?
Oh yeah, no, passing out in the driver's seat, crashed into a tree with the drunk, with the tire still kicking up dirt. Yeah, they should put that one in there.
Well, he was really honest with us, wasn't he? He said, I was still a boy inside, wasn't ready for the grown.
He's just a waste of talent, unfortunately. But I mean, this is a nice chance to resurrect your career.
Here, it's funny, Mike McCarthy a year ago was in Jay Glazer's gym. Jay does a lot of work with veterans and players and a lot of great charity.
Alden Smith, Everson Griffin, along with DeMarcus Lawrence. They're going to be interesting to watch on like third and long passing downs if they can get all those guys on the field.
I want to give a little credit to Alden's grandmother, who sort of finally got his ear and said, you've been kissed by the gods. Go out and take advantage of the gifts that you have.
Second and 6. Through the middle, Cam Akers. Stopped by Tristan Hill. Again, the Cowboys minus Van Der Esch. Also, we should mention Sean Lee, who's been so oft injured during his career, but wound up playing all 16 last year. He's inactive tonight.
Yeah, Sean Lee's on IR. I mean, I'm gonna say he's my least favorite player in the NFL. See, he's good at it, what he does, but the guy does not play through any sort of injury, and that's kind of what it takes in this league to be successful. Is you have to play banged up. Just no two ways about it.
First time we've seen this formation. And Goff going deep downfield, and that will be
What a catch by Ben Jefferson.
great-looking rookie out of Florida.
Van Jefferson.
Sean played for 13 years in the league. Now the Jets wide receiver coach picks up 32 against another rookie, Diggs.
Yeah, the Cowboys came with a blitz, knew they were going to get one-on-one on the outside.
They hyped him a lot in camp. I mean, that's a great catch. Let's be real.
He looked like Brandon Cooks on that catch. I almost said, nice catch, Brandon Cooks, until I saw it was Jefferson getting up.
He sure is a sturgeon, Mickey. Little bottom feeder. Yeah, he's pretty good. These runs are been pretty nice, actually, from this backfield. They got to take a little more time off, I think. The Rams do. They're not going to be able to. Maybe it should go quick in case they get it back.
Second and 4 off the fake, looking backside. And he pulled it into the ground. Robert Woods, but he would have been well covered at that point. Goff is 12 of 19 now for a $168.
That was smart. One of the few screens that have been broken up.
Working well. It wasn't there that time, but a little maturation maybe of Jared Goff, right? There's your buddy right there. Sean McVay, he really is an interesting guy to talk with, isn't he? I mean, he has tremendous energy, sort of like John Gruden a little bit, you know, sort of reminds me of John.
34 years old. In fact, he started with Gruden at Tampa Bay. His grandfather, John, longtime executive and former head coach himself. To the 12-yard line, Malcolm Brown. So on a 3rd and 4, it's going to set up a 4th down. Now, if you're the Rams, you're up by 3. You're going to get a 4th down and 2.
Untouchable Jay says money Woods.
Cash Wood, absolutely. Assuming there's no negative yardage.
And they'll probably take this to the...
They are running screens with him.
Sloman missed one, hit the upright, hit the other on a line drive. This will be a 31-yard. 2 minutes to the half. 10-7 Los Angeles.
2-minute warning.
This second quarter is brought to you by Expedia. Imagine the places we'll go together.
Imagine the places we'll go together. Expedia.
Talking about injuries, I thought it was funny during the game. During the Browns-Ravens game, they talked about how Beckham doesn't like to blame injuries. But last year, he definitely didn't feel the same. I don't know what his excuse is this year. But he had a drop, and after his drop, it really, really cost the Browns at the end of the second quarter. He had to go to the back for an IV.
Well, I mean, he's worth it though, Big Rye. I mean, $20 million a year. Is that the worst contract in the NFL right now? It might be. I'd
have to look through him, but he hasn't brought a lot to the table for Cleveland.
2 touchdowns. I think he did get 1,000 yards last year, but I mean, $20 million for a receiver. Get real. I mean, of course, I'm the guy who says you can't pay a receiver that much. I think the Mahomes contract is excellent for both parties. Mostly because I think Mahomes is a high character guy, good leadership. You're getting everything. You're getting the complete total package. He is unreal talent in just about every facet of the game.
Because eating well should feel good and taste amazing.
Aaron Rodgers made some throws today, though, Big Rye. Oh, my. There was one to Adams and one to Scantling that were just works of art.
I didn't get a chance to watch that game.
It was unbelievable, some of the throws he made. Baker's commercial to performance ratio is disproportionate. I don't think he's going to get too many endorsement deals if he keeps playing this way.
Yeah, Mickey, I don't think you might not have been here, but I did make a comment on one of the fantasy draft live streams about how I was expecting a lot less commercials this year from Baker Mayfield, but apparently I was wrong because I've seen quite a few already through these week 1 games.
Hey, there we go.
That kick looked a little bit stronger from Sloman.
I don't want to say I told you so, but Big Ryan and I wanted Josh Allen first overall.
Well, the Cowboys are now down to 2 offensive
We did.
tackles. Cam Irving, who was the swing tackle tonight, you'll see him there. This is
Well, maybe you did. I didn't know anything about any of them.
What? We went over this. We did a whole thing.
Oh, like looking back at it now?
No, yeah, no. When we were during the draft.
At this point, it's questionable. We'll keep you posted. See him there going to the carpet. As we said, now they're just down to
Looks like Cam Irving is out.
There's a former first round pick from the Browns.
So it sounds like that UDFA right tackle beat out Cameron Irving for that starting right tackle spot.
Is that really surprising, Big Rye?
That's the least surprising thing I've heard all day.
That was an aggressive catch from Pollard running into that thing. You had Adams in DFS, but not good. Wait, Devonta Adams? Devonta Adams tore it up. I have him in one of our other leagues, and it was a good performance.
Well, DeAndre Hopkins had a big day. He set his career best for receptions. I can't remember what he finished with, but it was like 14.
14. That's got a knock on the door. I think Brandon Marshall has the record. Jay Cutler era. It might have been 20.
Really nice catch by Blake Jarwin.
I don't mind him as a player. Oh, it sounds like sarcasm, but it's not.
I think Blake Jarwin was one of the names I used to make fun of guys having good camp stories.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to check CeeDee Lamb's measurables because he looks tiny.
He's not a big guy. He is quick, though.
He's 6'2", 198.
He doesn't seem that tall.
I think maybe that's why he seems so
slender. What a hit. How does Bill O'Brien still have a job? I don't know, and he has full control. Interesting stuff. I mean, I know you're referencing.
They played very poorly on Thursday night. It's a little bit tough. I'm going to say this for them and for the Browns is that those are very tough teams to play your first week against, Kansas City and Baltimore. But if this continues, it's going to be tough, especially for Bill O'Brien because he's had a few years already.
More than a few.
The confidence has got to be at an all-time low with what he's done. And it seems like he's just getting more autonomy every year.
Yeah, which is interesting. That's probably what Mickey was referencing, the Hopkins trade. Part of it maybe is financially didn't want to pay Hopkins because they did re-up a bunch of their players. Like Zach Cunningham got a huge deal, the linebacker. Who else? Who else got a new deal? There's two other players I know that the Texans re-up. I think they re-upped Watson too. So maybe it was going to be a money issue. I don't think they got the haul they're supposed to. And I wouldn't like a running back. That wouldn't have been one of my choices to get in return.
And it's funny that I mentioned that because Houston has to host the Ravens next week. And then they have to travel to Pittsburgh. Then they play Minnesota. So it's not those first four games. Like 0-4 is really in the cards for Houston.
Yep.
Because I'm guessing they're going to be small to medium underdogs against the Ravens. They're going to be...
Well, medium at least.
They're going to be medium underdogs at Pittsburgh. And then it might be a pick-em with them hosting Minnesota.
I actually get not wanting to pay big money on wide receiver. When you look at impacts of players, wide receiver and running back, the gap in talent is smaller than other positions. Any action in the games today, fellas? Lots. We're in the red, though, I would tell. To be honest, Zaps.
Yeah, down 1 unit. I went 1 and 2 for the early games, and then we've got the Rams right now -1. So if the Rams win, it's pretty much going to be an even day. Just losing out on the juice. Dallas with a strong 2-minute drill so far. Elliott gets him into the red zone. Oh, Untouchables Jay wants to put action on the fantasy lines.
Interesting. I would be love to gamble with you. It's tough on sending money and stuff like that.
It looks like Blake Jarwin with a non-contact injury here on his right knee, right calf. Screen for Elliott. This looks like a touchdown. There's a flag on the play. Elliott gets in for the touchdown.
He is a serious downhill runner when he is going for it.
So PI looks like tight end Schultz. Just a little bit too early on that screen pass block. Untouchable J Fat Guy wants to make it happen.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. We can figure something out.
We'll have to look forward to next week's games. Maybe when we look at the fantasy matchups, you can set lines.
Well, there's projections, so you just subtract the 2, and then that should do it on its own.
Weekend Warriors, meet your match. With a sport hood, a custom grill, and 20-inch black aluminum wheels.
I love Jay's spirit. He's got a real risk-taking experience. Risk-taking proclivity. Like how I was trying to find a smaller word and I came up with proclivity. So long-winded.
Second and 11 for Prescott. He's going to put this ball down. He runs for it. And touchdown is the call on the field.
He took a licking on that touchdown run. But good for him.
And it looks like he's going to be about a yard short, which is actually going to be beneficial to the Cowboys. There's 38 seconds on the clock. Rams only have one
they get it.
Timeout, yeah. When I say beneficial, I mean clockwise, so the Rams don't get this ball back. What's going on, John? How you doing tonight? Hopefully it will benefit Carol Baskin Tigers too.
John's having a nice day outing. 9-4. It's a good day.
Need next level spice, like the new Scotch Bonnet McChicken. Some need ghost pepper, our spiciest of all. Don't worry, kid. He'll be okay.
Try the new Scotch Bonnet today, then try our spiciest, coming soon.
Why Vileda? Because when there's a heat wave, I can still cool down on my clean floor.
The Vileda Pro Mist Max. It's reusable.
Carol Baskin. That was It's hard to find someone who didn't watch that. I watched it all in one night. The entire Tiger King thing. I just couldn't believe it was real, like it wasn't written. I mean, obviously it's dramatized, but...
An Ezekiel Elliott touchdown would go a long ways for the Carol Baskin Tigers.
Will you fake marry me? But can he handle this? Technically, we now work for you.
In Hawaii, they call that karma.
My favorite quote of the whole entire Tiger King was when what should we call it? Tiger Joe thought that someone sabotaged him by putting some sort of oil or on his boots that Tiger wanted to eat, and she went like, "No, if you want the tiger to eat you, you'd put anchovy oil on it," as if she had done it before. So, you know, maybe that explains the missing husband. But it was very funny.
It was smooth.
It was smooth criminal, like Carol Baskin. Won her lawsuit too.
He is stopped short. Kaiser is right there, and they can stop the clock now with 20 seconds with a timeout.
Yeah, untouchable. We're 5 and 8 as well.
You could have gone either way with that. Take the runoff, Chris, or take the timeout. And they're not trying to milk the clock at this point, so to go for the runoff.
Yeah, you've got that, and which makes this call interesting, because if you run it and don't get it here, you probably have to take the timeout, and then you won't have it again. So
I am trash. It's 1 week. Yeah, sardine oil. That's what it was.
you know, it's interesting thing about coaching is all that stuff comes into play here. Make sure. Really was a heck of a play by Micah Kaiser.
She probably does.
Second and goal for the Cowboys. And he definitely gets in. And it is Ezekiel Elliott. Good for the Carol Baskin Tigers.
How do you stop that when he gets so low? And the balance from Elliott, and he's so powerful.
Well, you have to win at the line of scrimmage. If they get that pushback, then he's just going to run into the back of one of his linemen's legs. But you get behind Tyron Smith, it makes it a lot easier. Tyron Smith is 2 yards into the end zone with Aaron Donald.
But that, like, you could run that play from 4 yards out and get in, because he gets low enough and he just slices right through. Well, it's 1 week, Jay. It's 1 week. This is a long year.
It's been 13 games so far, and there's 240 something left to go.
Yeah. 43. That's why I teased this week. Oh, giving up too much equity, I think, teasing, Jay. But I mean, you got to do what will give you the least amount of regret.
I'll tell you what, I've lived here a long time. I've never seen the sky that gray-orange, almost like apocalyptic. Those, of course, it's the residue, the smoke from the fires all over the state of California. Gotten better over the weekend.
Those apocalyptic looks, they're not quite the same here, but they've made their way up north from all the fires.
Yeah, our town has the worst air quality in the world right now. You got props, so. Do Canadians have white privilege too? I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know if it exists. I don't know if it exists anywhere. I think anyone who has a full, complete family has privilege. It's just better, I would say. That being said, the Rams are attempting something here. Nice run.
And the Cowboys are going to get the ball at the start of the second half. First half, 14-13.
What's going on, Kamasa? Welcome to the stream.
Mike Tirico telling you what sound tap, Mike.
All right, Alan, Chris, thank you. Coming up,
So Cowboys will take a 1-point lead into halftime.
in new places. How they do? We'll hear from Tom Brady after he got off to that losing start with Tampa. Different story for Cam Newton in Brady's old neck of the woods up in New England. The offense looks very different too. The Toyota halftime's coming up right after this.
Want to stay up to date? Hey Siri, show me football scores.
I have to do anything to help my mother.
It looks weird to see stadium shots without 100 people standing around outside smoking or doing whatever they're doing. Scalping tickets. Kissing babies.
I pulled one off on a scalper one year. I had Prince tickets, and my friend got a free upgrade from a girl he knew that worked at Ticketmaster, but that made his old tickets worthless. And I specifically didn't like this aggressive scalper, and then I sold the now defunct tickets to him for $100. It was immoral, but I didn't like this guy, and he was pushy and rude to everybody. So, you know, I thought he got to get a taste of his own medicine. Then we spent it on alcohol. Great Prince concert.
You said that was just last year?
No. That would be a really crude Prince concert if it was last year. There'd have to be a lot of pyrotechnics, and the guy who's working the ropes and the rigs up top would have to be very talented.
Unilever believes everyday products can create real change. And now that the everyday has changed, we're acting fast. Donating $1 million worth of Dove to the front lines, plus thousands.
They're advertising 7-Eleven delivery. Who? I mean,
yeah, Slurpees.
Well, what are you gonna get delivered from 7-Eleven?
I saw a commercial. They were highlighting that you can get Slurpees delivered to you.
How? I don't know, man. This delivery's getting too crazy. Hey, man, I'm not ripping 7-Eleven. Everyone's been drunk and had taquitos before. Everybody, but...
Mickey Hill's curious if you wore a raspberry beret to the Prince concert.
Yeah, it was the kind you find at a secondhand store, Mickey. I'm actually a huge Prince fan, Mickey, and I got stuff. There is things in this apartment, some memorabilia in this apartment. Prince and John Coltrane. I don't know why. Yeah, actually, I got a John Coltrane poster up there.
Welcome to the Toyota halftime. Let's go places.
An 8-play 80-yard drive and 9-play 73-yard drive.
Prince did a good Super Bowl halftime show.
Dallas has a 1-point lead. The debut of SoFi Stadium. Feed me. End of the first half. Welcome to Toyota halftime. Mike Tirico, Tony Dungy, Rodney Harrison joins us here.
Paisley Park blouses. That is so good. Paisley Park is where Prince's compound was.
Oh,
Best
okay.
Prince song? Controversy? Okay. Best Prince song. Oh. Okay. All right. This is now. I'm. That's a tough question. The funniest Prince song is Party Man and Computer Blue. Neither of them are very good, but they're like funny, and you hear them and you kind of like get into it. And what was the other one? Black Sweat is the other one that's funny. Little Red Corvette I like, but it's not in the best conversation. Purple Rain is obviously at the top. I'm trying to think of something better. and Purple Rain. Yeah, it's tough. I really like Raspberry Beret too, but it's not like a timeless classic like Purple Rain is. I'm really trying to find something better. Oh. Cream is a fun one too, but it's not. Diamonds and Pearls is up there. I can't think of anything better than Purple Rain. I can't.
No fans in the stands, and Brady not in the Patriots colors. You went up against Tom thousands of times, it felt like. What'd you notice as you watched him today as a Buck?
Well, what always stopped me coaching against him was the precision, the chemistry, the timing. That wasn't there today with these receivers. They need work on that, but that'll come. All right, let's go to Tom's.
We got a halftime show here.
Patriots offense used to look. Show us Cam.
Yes.
Yeah, Controversy's song. Yeah, I know that one. But it was a double entendre because, you know, there is controversy to that selection. I'm actually looking it up because I can't think of. Thieves in the Temple. No, that doesn't. I don't mind that song either though.
How do we deal with all of this unique running that we're going to get from Cam Newton?
And coach, I was impressed with offensive coordinator.
Kiss is a fun one. I really like that one too.
Cam and the Pats next Sunday night in Seattle on Sunday Night Football. Coming up, a special moment with Ron Rivera in Washington. But first, Toyota reminds us that today's the day.
Sign of the Times. Paisley Park Blouses. That's a good name. I might steal that.
And now that the everyday has changed, we're acting fast. Donating $1 million worth of Dove to the front lines. Plus
Yeah, it's Purple Rain. That's so cliche, but that's a top 10 song. I mean, it's too tough. Too tough to argue that. Oh, there's a funny one. You ever seen that Breakfast Can Wait? He used Dave Chappelle serving pancakes as the cover art. I always thought that was clever. At least he can poke fun at himself a little bit. I mean, he's the weirdest guy in the world, so I don't even. I mean, what does that mean? Yeah, it's Purple Rain.
Time now for our Sunday Spotlight. Ron Rivera made his coaching debut with the Washington football team today. Last month, Rivera announced he has been diagnosed with cancer. During halftime of their game against Philadelphia, Rivera got a planned IV. His second-year quarterback, Dwayne Haskins, stepped up, gave the speech to the team in the locker room. Washington came back from down 17, beat Philadelphia, and there's the scene in the locker room as Ron Rivera was presented a very
All Prince songs are good, pretty much.
It's been a tumultuous season in Washington.
Chris Cornell does a cover of Nothing Compares to You. What?
That's tomorrow, every weekday afternoon on Peacock, our new streaming service. Longtime friends and journalists Michael Holley and Michael Smith co-host Brother from Another. They'll discuss and debate the latest across sports, culture, and entertainment.
Did Sinead O'Connor write that song? I don't know the chronology of it. Like, whose song is it? It's Prince's, and then Sinead O'Connor did it, right?
Then Dan Patrick, Rich Eisen, Brother from Another, and PFT PM. Settle in and enjoy. Settle in for the second half in a minute. Zeke on the Cowboys' last drive puts Dallas up 1. They get the ball to start the third. Back to Al, Chris, and Michelle in Los Angeles after this.
Okay, Sinead O'Connor did a cover, I guess.
Let's go places.
Not that I listen to Sinead O'Connor. All I know is the Pope ripping incident and that she had a bald head. I think she's Islamic now. I don't know. She's into... she's all over the place. Let's put it that way.
Or get 7-Eleven delivered fast. 7-Eleven, here for you in the neighborhood.
Prince wrote it. Yeah, I'm going to listen to it, Mickey. Totally.
Since I switched to Equestrian, the lower fees
I'm not a Big Rye's way more of a music guy than I am. I'm more of a movie guy, but Big Rye is a 90s R&B enthusiast, to say the least.
You're not still investing with mom and dad's guy, are you?
It's time to switch to Questrade, Canada's #1 rated online.
Are you there, Big Rye? Jeez.
Yeah, I'm not that big of a fan of Prince. I'm just reading about Nothing Compares to You. It's written and composed by Prince as a side project and then made famous by Sinead O'Connor.
Here's my John Coltrane poster.
the salon, you can
This Logic Cam thing is fantastic. It works so well.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. The live line for the second half is Cowboys -2.5 at +117.
Making more ethical choices here.
You're already up a point though.
Communities all the way over here.
God, I'm not into in-game betting. I wish I could give you advice either way, but I feel like I got it kind of figured out as far as football goes.
Show ourselves in what we own, what we choose to love, curating the things we connect with that bring us joy, our families, friends, and more than just friends, filling our lives with memories, beauty,
Best 90s boy band?
treasures, and soon to be heirlooms.
Big Rye, this is a question made for you.
Well, you've proclaimed me as a big 90s R&B fan, which I don't know if is true.
Are you serious?
I gotta look up all the 90s boy bands.
What? NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, not exactly our favorite. 98 Degrees.
Well, the top 3 according to this are NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, and Boys to Men.
Oh yeah.
It has to be those 3.
Returns to the iconic Wingfoot, the 120th U.S. Open, September 17th through the 20th, live on TSN, presented by RBC.
Well, NSYNC's got Joey Fatone, so I mean that should win right there, right?
See, I think the Backstreet Boys were better, but then, like, Justin Timberlake came from NSYNC, so obviously Justin Timberlake, I think, did stuff better than...
You know who's the real winner of the
bands.
90s? Lou Pearlman.
Yeah. He touched a lot of hearts.
Yeah. And more, according to some, but I don't think that's true.
98 Degrees only had a couple good songs.
Hey, Nick Lachey married Jessica Simpson, though. That's not so bad.
I think it is that bad.
No, that would be a fun few years. Come on now.
I would
Is the
not say
chicken
that's a
from the
fun
sea?
few years. Yeah, Jags total wins over 4.5, looking good already. And
Yeah,
no
I
kidding.
know.
It's 4.5 is just too low.
That doesn't mean they're going to get it. But
Even on Thursday Night Football, ESPN put out they have win projections as well, and they had, I believe, Carolina and Jags as the 2 worst teams, and they were still at 6 wins.
which isn't far off. It's bad.
There we
Pat.
go, Mickey. Mickey knows. Quoting some "I Want You Back." Probably my
that
favorite
could,
NSYNC song.
that could be. I believe that lyrics in Depeche Mode. Enjoy the silence. No, there's no your. It's just all I ever wanted. There you go. I was listening in the car the other day. It was fantastic. Michelle Tafoya, here we go. An old classic, much like that song, I Want You Back.
He liked the offensive tempo so far. Had a few cadence issues they're working through. Sean McVay said his offense has to finish drives. He said his kicker has settled in after missing that first field goal attempt out.
All right, Michelle, clearly finishing drives. That's what he's talking about. 1 TD on 4 forays inside the 20. Elliott will slip to the outside, break a tackle.
Excellent run from Ezekiel Elliott.
God, man. Is there a better running back in the NFL than Elliott, Big Rye? Depeche Mode's up. One of my favorites, Mickey.
He's one of the best.
I can't think of anyone better, though, off the top of my head. People
Well,
say
it just depends.
McCaffrey. I
Just depends how
don't
you
think he
feel on
runs as
McCaffrey.
violently.
It depends how you feel on Derrick Henry.
Oh, Smiths, Morrissey, absolutely. Oh, Zaps had Josh Jacobs. How do you get Jacobs and Zeke though? You're in a soft league
Maybe
unless
in a
it's
keeper
keepers.
league. Maybe it's maybe it's an 8-team league.
Yeah, and then he got
Jacobs late.
Yeah, somehow. 'Cause that's a super team. I don't know, Jay. If I had to fight someone, it'd be Batman because he doesn't have any supernatural powers, and chances are the real Bruce Wayne is considerably smaller than me, so I'd at least have a chance. They gave Ramsey 105 million. I think Wonder Woman. Well, you do it just for the fun of it, Nikki. There'd be some masochistic pleasure in that. They gave Ramsey 105 million. I don't know, man. I think he's a poor attitude guy, not good leadership, and that's a lot of money tied up for a corner. Man, these Donald highlights are insane. These hits have been big today. You say this year, well, I guess it has been, but
just excellent execution from Prescott and Schultz to pick up that first down on 3rd and 10.
I got to be honest, this looks like more of a clean offense than with Garrett, like less confusion. You know what I mean? I feel like Garrett caused so many miscommunications.
Well, we've had Dallas as one of the best rosters the last couple of years, and coaching has really held them back, or at least blaming coaching has held them back.
Yeah. I'm not saying McCarthy's a genius or anything, but they, I don't know, this seems more relaxed, more cohesive. Again, this is one fat guy's perspective from a very small sample. Are you going to get Bruce Banner before he's mad, Jay? Yeah, it's possible. I wonder how his purple pants always seem to come back to form after being ripped so much.
3rd and 4 for Dallas.
3rd and 4.
And a sack. That's a huge sack. I believe it's Michael Brockers.
Yeah, Brocker's not known for interior pressure, mostly a run stuffer, but that's a big play for the Rams. Gonna put a pin in that drive.
That was huge because of they could have attempted a long field goal there, or they would have at least been in 4th down territory going for it. But now it's looking like a punt. It looks like they're going to be at their own 48-yard line. Or sorry, on the Rams.
I'm not that
48.
confident in this O-line. Even though this is supposed to be one of the best ones. Seems like there's a lot of patchwork. Ooh, shaky catch. Cooper's able to make it, though.
Something's back at McDonald's. Spice Face. Some people get it from the habanero McChicken. Others need next level spice, like the new Scotch Bonnet. Which one will give you Spice Face?
Triumph doesn't just happen. Chase boldly. Ignore the comfort zone. And when you do, raise a glass to yourself.
Here's to the chase. Wolf's Blast.
Fat Guy and I aren't big fans of superheroes.
Yeah. Never seen the Avengers, anything like that. Big Rye doesn't even watch movies, believe it or not. Very rarely.
I'm trying to remember the last movie I watched.
You probably watched Misery with me.
The last movie I watched in theaters was a Pokemon movie at my niece's birthday. And then before that, it might have... This is going to blow your mind, Fat Guy, but the last movie I might have seen in theaters before that was Inception.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Oh, I forgot you're stuck in your room. You know.
Zaps,
Apart
there's...
from that,
It all depends on the Fat Guy's schedule. I'm hoping to do Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday night for streams.
I'll be on Monday night. Thursday night is a question mark as it stands.
What do you want to do for tomorrow? There's 2 games. Do you want to go live for both or
Let's go live for one. We drag on. Like, there's too much dead air. We're not that interesting.
What game would you guys prefer we go live for? Actually, well, let me just double check the games.
Well, what game serves more interest to us? Tennessee, Denver?
I think I would rather go live for Tennessee, Denver.
Let's do it then. We make the rules. Both?
I'm interested in watching the Steelers, and I'm interested in watching the Titans.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I know the Giants aren't one of your favorites. Last Star Wars movie. Mine was Blade Runner. Blade Runner is my favorite movie. The 2042. The aesthetic was right. The plot wasn't very good. And we're back. Man, there's some big hits and violent running. I'm liking this. If this is what the season's going to bring, I'm into it.
These are 2 of the stronger teams in the league. So it's nice to get to watch them on Sunday night.
Exactly. You saw the first one in theaters. Did you have to wait in line, Mickey? Yeah, 77. 10 years before I was born. Yeah, that's not the first Blade Runner is a masterpiece. The 2042 was okay. I agree. God, I'm liking these the violent running. These are big collisions. Look at Don Terry Poe, man. That guy fills out a uniform, eh? This
One of our personal favorites.
One point, if you hit everyone in their prime, is a ultra star-studded lineup. Don Terry Poe, DeMarcus Lawrence, Alden Smith.
Yeah.
Woo! Woo! No, not in the Deep South. They didn't have lineups. Good for you.
Another good catch from Robert Woods. They're getting him on these crossing routes. And it's probably because Dallas has been playing man.
Robert Woods has been a high-effort, underrated player since his start. Isn't that an interesting thing? Like, where you're drafted carries with you so much in this league. This is another great screen. Oh, this is refreshing. This is almost like what? Is that a face mask? This is almost like watching an Andy Reid game, how it's being called. Great job, McVay. Hope it's not a chop block or something dumb like that. I believe procedural errors always bother me.
No, that's Andrew Whitworth.
Remember that time he got filmed and they had a full frontal shot of him and it got put on the news? Man, and then what is it? The news station just said sorry.
He doesn't look like he's that far down. I don't know if I like that call. Another catch from Everett.
I don't see the difference between him and Higbee. And Higbee got this big fantasy push. Is there something I'm missing, Big Rye? I mean, probably.
I'd have
Higbee,
to check
Higbee got extended.
I'd have to check their stats at the end of last year, but maybe Higbee put up better numbers over the last half of the season. That's the only thing I could think of. Or maybe they talked him up during the offseason. They've always kind of split time. It's hard to,
I just remember,
to pick either guy.
I remember big plays more from Everett, though.
Everett's just a bigger guy. I feel like when he gets the ball, it's like noticeable plays. But Higbee might put up better numbers.
But he's pretty nimble, too. They just ran a screen with him. You can't run a screen with a brick foot.
It's one of those things where it's like, oh, interesting. design quarterback run for Goff.
Is this not a game? I'm loving this. This is great. What I kept harping on is about taking more risks, and it looks like the Rams are doing such. They only have 13 on the board, but this has been a refreshing and creative, to say the least.
The Rams go 5 wide and hit Robert Woods open on a delayed slant.
That Woods over got smashed, man. Nice bet, Jay.
Also, these Goff's up to 14 completions.
Is there a turnover yet in this game? No.
Not that I can remember off the top of my head. The difference in this game is that the Cowboys have made it count in the red zone.
I feel like the Rams have played better, though, to be honest.
Well, the Rams have had to settle for 2 field goals.
Yeah, and a missed one.
Chris, this is an interesting game in so many ways. We were trying to figure it out, and the Cowboys are a minimal favorite. But
I like how. I'm surprised they haven't designed a high-tech mask or something. Seems like the NFL, it'd be a good merchandising thing for them. Standard NFL.
I know the UFC took advantage of it and was selling branded masks.
Are they Reebok, though?
I'm not sure what brand they are. I think the NFL, because of the start of the season, they didn't get to capitalize on that. As strange as that sounds.
That was a great run. I don't care. It was 1 yard. He had to beat a guy in the backfield.
Playoff berth for the Rams, 46% division title. They're in a tough division with San Francisco, Arizona, and Seattle.
So this is back to those projections that they've come up with.
I don't think they're going to be too... It's silly to say this, but Big Ryan and I have a secret sheet for projecting this, and I'll take the Pepsi challenge all day with that sheet against Pro Football Focus.
Well, that one's not even Pro Football Focus. That's SNF Genius, but it's probably Pro Football Focus.
No, Al Michaels had mentioned it's Pro Football Focus. And I doubt that they're because they offer a service for predicting spreads. I doubt it's plus CV, because I don't think you can just go off of handicapping. Football is insanely difficult. You need cutting edge information all the time coming in. Past performance isn't enough. I believe, at least. Both teams playing well. I agree, Mickey. These are strong teams. Of course, I say that and they'll both win 7 games, but this looks strong. Oh my!
Woods, for the moment, saves the touchdown as Josh Reynolds makes the catch and sets up a first down and goal.
What a play! What a play! These receivers look great, and they go right to the line.
Nice stiff arm from Malcolm Brown.
Oh man! What a great drive! This feels like the Rams 2 years ago, you know? This is giving me the same amount of excitement. Go for 2. Go for 2.
There have been some great runs after the catch tonight, and this one in particular was a huge play. Just perfect coverage by Trayvon Diggs, and he just...
This catch is difficult, too.
And then on the final play, Andrew Whitworth with a tremendous reach block on the outside, and what a night so far it's been for Malcolm Brown.
Rams lack a Devin Ware in the late in the season. That's possible. I honestly think the Ramsey trade really hurt them. You have to pay him $105 million, and you had to give up 2 firsts and a 4th. That's just too much capital on one guy. I'd rather keep the 2 first rounders. The Gurley contract hurt them. I agree, but with the Ramsey trade, you keep the 2 first rounders. You could draft a corner. Pay the corner is a late first rounder, so $3.5, $4 million. you're saving 16 right there, maybe more, considering the contract that under. You're gonna get 2 players. Collectively, you're gonna pay them less than half what you would Ramsey. That's the thing about the new CBA, not the new one, the latest one of the last 8 years or whatever. It's great value on some of these rookie contracts.
I'm not sure what happened to your. I'm not sure what happened to your mic, but you might want to try to plug it back in. I can still hear you, but the quality's gone down.
And that's something we're proud of. No artificial preservatives, only simple ingredients.
Test.
Yeah, that's much better.
Question or okay, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
I was just harping on how it's just so much better to have rookie deals than veteran deals. And the new CBA is very team friendly. Not that it's new, but
I'm just looking over the Rams roster because I kind of questioned you, Mickey, when you said their lack of depth, but they really do lack depth, especially at inside linebacker.
Care tissue, 2 layers strong, excellent for daily use. Kleenex.
And right now they only have 4 corners listed on this roster, which they probably have more. I'm sure some of these safeties are kind of hybrid corners. Zeke's contract is going to cost the Cowboys too. Just, it's so hard to give skill position players like that so much money. Fat Guy's even saying Tony Pollard, he feels like is one of the strongest backup running backs in the league. Like, if Elliott's not playing, is it that big of a difference?
there's a drop off, but it might only be what, 15%, Big Rye? You know, is that the difference of a game? I don't think so. And considering that you can use the resources elsewhere, because Pollard's making what, $600,000 a year, Big Rye, roughly.
I'd have to check.
Elliott's getting $16 million. You know, is Elliott really what, 20 times better? Of course, I'm doing some very guerrilla math there, but.
Continuing to learn the systems, we're putting ourselves in a position to be ready to roll, and that's all we can do right now. That's exactly
Almost 30.
Elliott's getting paid $10.9 million for cap dollars. Tony Pollard's just under $900,000.
Oh, so it's okay. So 11 times then. Still, it's, I don't know. No, the answer is no for me. Big Rye agrees with you, Mickey, about the depth of the Rams. I'm looking through their roster too now.
Just looking through their roster to see where they're weak, where they lack depth, and especially like at inside linebacker and corner, they just don't have a lot of experience there. So it's hard to say. It's hard when you're handicapping to say what they're going to get from those spots, but we'll see.
Zaps, I am in complete agreement with you. And I don't think it's just this game. I think the tackling for most of the better teams, let's say, all day today has been good and violent and my style.
Yeah. There's usually an advantage for defensive players.
Take the edge off in preseason. I don't know. Or maybe we've just seen a good sampling of it.
I think it's easy for defensive players to be excited to be back and put maybe a little more emphasis into their hits. They've been, I'm guessing, walking through a lot of practices, a lot of like non-contact stuff. So to actually get out there 100% and make those hits is probably exciting for a lot of these guys. I'm sure a lot of them thought they probably wouldn't even be playing this season, so I think they're excited for a couple different reasons.
Oh, no, it's a flag. Saints look great. I was really happy that pick worked out.
They're a well-coached team, and there's not too much has changed on both sides of their roster. Whereas Tampa's the opposite. Like, look at how much turnover there's been in Tampa. that's an experienced, well-oiled machine versus a team that has potential to be good.
Tony Correnti getting the call right.
Boy, Aaron Donald got right under.
And then Kaiser hit the ball, but Donald gets the assist here.
Well, you go back and you watch the tape after any game that Aaron Donald plays, and you go.
They showed a stat in the first half. Aaron Donald had pressure on 33% of the dropbacks.
That's a complete game wrecking. That alone. See, like, I don't care if you pay a guy like Donald $30 million. You're getting that. Think about it. So a third of the plays, he is disrupting the other team's offense. A third of the play. You can't tell me a third of the plays a wide receiver makes a noticeable impact, you know, or even a running back like above replacement, you know, using almost war like Bill James type lateral comparisons to baseball. You know, like Donald brings something that skill position players can't. Because that's got to be the for defense, an interior pass rusher that's very effective. That's because then you're always rolling out to a side to have to throw. Unless you're Russell Wilson or Patrick Mahomes, it's just really difficult.
And no more messy hands. Voltaren Emulgel back in muscle pain.
At Pizza Hut, we deliver unbelievable value. So unbelievable, we're offering up to 3 medium pizzas for $5 each when you buy any large. A deal that sounds too good to be true, but is true. Now that's delivering.
Here. Being here matters. Here. And healthy habits in the classroom can help keep them here. Introducing Here for Healthy Schools, a program from Lysol dedicated to curbing the spread of illness-causing germs in classrooms by teaching healthy habits, partnering with medical professionals, and arming schools with smart thermometers. Because together, we can make sure children understand the importance of being healthy here. Learn about our mission at lysol.ca.
You like highlights? I think we're going to have some highlights.
Big Rye, are you being accosted to invest with Asante Wealth Management? Every commercial?
I don't believe I am.
Different feed. I wish I was on yours. Yeah, perhaps. Preseason was always a hardcore type thing, those apps. So, I mean, it's tougher to say, but I was hoping that there'd be some more. The games would be less close today. Because if I'm going to lose, I'd rather lose by a blowout so I can get value from that team later on. I don't think there was enough of that, but it's good to be back, to say the least. Good on the Redskins, though, or the football team, whatever. I'm going to do that all year. Said that again.
An interesting stat fact, guy, is out of all the picks in our contest this week, collectively, we have gone 51.1%.
Oh, everyone picking in the contest?
Yeah, it was at 48.8 before the afternoon games, and it's up to 51. So people did really, really well picking those afternoon games. Clearly, so it's nice to see people are at minus 105. People are tied with the juice.
Yeah. The idea is to improve, and breaking even is in the gambling world is almost a win.
Goff stood in the pocket there, took a hit, but just a little bit off target to Tyler Higbee.
Goff sitting back comfortably in that pocket. He just fired Joe Thomas on that one. Watch this. He's going to come ripping right up. Both linebackers come on the blitz, and they at least get him on the ground, which they really have not been able to do.
It's been a few plays here from Dallas where they're bringing linebackers late.
That's good. They somehow haven't been able to get pressure despite having a star-studded D-line. 60-0 KC Chiefs this year, boys. I mean, statistically, it's unlikely.
Interception.
Wow.
And he makes some moves. It's always a possibility, Jamie, but
impossible.
It is unlikely.
Alden Smith coming in to put the heat on. Dallas ball. They're down by 6, late third.
As you say that, let's look at the Chiefs. They play the Chargers next week, where they'll be probably medium to large favorites.
I'd say
they have
large.
to play in Baltimore week 3, which it might be a pick. It might be Baltimore slight favorites. So that's going to be a tough game for them early on. And it looks like it's a Sunday night game, so that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
Let's see, what's the... it's actually a Monday night football game, so that's going to be an excellent Monday night game for week 3.
Hi, cat. No, don't go that way. So I've never had a pet, and I have a cat now, and I'm super allergic, so it's been a difficult thing.
They get to play the Bucks later in the year in Tampa Bay, which hopefully by then the Bucks will be a little bit better than they are as of now. They're going to have to play the Saints the week before Christmas.
Yeah, the Browns were the Browns was really bad, Zaps. But I mean standard Browns, like at least the last 15 years.
When we make predictions, Chiefs are at about 11-12. 13-3, 14-2 would be an excellent season for them. That would be essentially winning every game they should win or are favored in. And then there's going to be probably 2 or 3 games where they're going to be coin flips or small underdogs. And that's assuming that everybody stays healthy. You know, if they lose Mahomes at week 3, they could easily go 3-13. So they need a lot to go right for them to be able to go 16-0. A lot. They need to be very lucky. Yeah, Zabs brings up a good point. There wasn't that many blowouts this week.
Just waited out. God, this guy can ball. You know who else had a good game today? I like Josh Jacobs, the Raiders. Thought
He's
awesome.
a really good player.
I don't know. That might have been a penalty on the interception. He had hands at illegal contact.
Looks like a hold on the interior there. Late flag for Amari Cooper, which I don't know if he's had a reception tonight.
Aaron Donald's a good guy, so is Dak. They're having a few conversations too.
Pass interference. Defense number 59. Ball's placed at the spot of the foul and an automatic first down.
So Micah Kaiser.
Jamie's requesting that we take the Chiefs at least twice this year. It's going to be hard. Atlanta pick of the week was almost all garbage time in the second half.
Yeah, it was. I cursed it. You already knew that was going to happen. I lost the Survivor's strike because of the Falcons. I really wanted to be the outside guy, and it didn't work out.
I lost a strike too with San Fran. Not a good day for Survivor picks.
Oh, you at San Fran?
Yeah.
Yikes. So a lot of people lost on Philadelphia, which that was the game I specifically wanted to go against, or I wanted to stay away from. I actually kind of liked Washington even win it. So I didn't want to say that on the podcast because it's too crazy of a prediction.
It's easy to say now, fat guy.
Yeah, you and I talked about it for like 20 minutes. Don't even.
The Untouchable Jay wants to know if you want to make a trade for Jacobs.
You just like wheeling and dealing and doing stuff. Send me an offer. I like Jacobs. It's a buy high thing, though, you know? I'm surprised Clay Matthews never got a call from the Rams to play again.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I lost on Indy. Lots of people did. That was another game I wanted to stay away from. The only other one I consider other than Atlanta was Pittsburgh. And Detroit. So I would have Detroit lost, and so did Atlanta. So
3rd and 5 for the Cowboys here, an important down. Jump pass to Cooper, who looks like he didn't even see the ball.
That's not bad, Zaps. Patriots survivor. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people were uncertain about the pass. I don't think many people had him selected for their...
I really liked them in that game. I'm glad it came to fruition. That was, in the comment section, that was the one I caught the most shade for. Aside, I think Jacksonville and the Patriots. A lot of people saying that Miami was so bad. One guy made a comment that I think is a common misconception from a lot of people. He said that the Patriots had lost all these players, and that that they weren't. It was a bad pick to take them laying 6 points. That go in, yeah. But I disagreed because they were only 6-point favorites, whereas last year they were 15.5 and 18.5 point favorites. So that's all that stuff is already baked into the line. You know what I mean? The only stuff that kind of changes is game time weather, perhaps, and the market itself. Like people already know going into it that X or Y team has lost players, right? Like it's not a revelation or anything. Maybe a late injury, perhaps, but.
Aleve provides fast pain relief that lasts up to 12 hours. When pain happens, Aleve it. Long lasting.
And tonight's aerial coverage is being brought to you by...
I was at a poker game with a lot of square guys last night, and the guys always mention about not having are running backs and receivers, so that gives you a really good idea into what injuries are important to them, right? Whereas I imagine you guys and Big Ryan and I, if you lose a pass rusher or a starting O-lineman, that's more telling. Good case is Philadelphia starting two completely inexperienced guys against arguably the best D-line in the league in the Washington Redskins, Washington football team.
What was an unsuccessful season by his standards around, and this is how they did it. They got the ball out of his hands. They weren't let the Dallas Cowboys come after him with those great pass rushers. It was a really good scheme, and it has been working so far.
Jared Goff has been insanely accurate today.
Which is kind of what you expect from him.
Yeah. I mean, like his Jeff Fisher years were regrettable, but...
Well, it shows how much a difference coaching can make, especially McVay has done such a good job on the offensive side of the ball with play calling.
That's the first time they've actually had it covered. And there's Dak Prescott. You know, Al, I know he went through a lot.
Mickey said 4-5 suited is an underrated starting hand.
I agree, Mickey. Now, 4-5 suited increases in value as the stack depths increase. So when you're really deep and someone who has a low 3-bet frequency raises you have a hand like that, that's how you make lots of money. Assuming you flop well.
One of the questions was, you could have kept this very private. You made it, very public. You got it out there. A lot of folks talking about it. He said, I just want to help people. There are a lot of people who are dealing with what I'm dealing with, and they're not...
My golf prop might be in play. Oh, Kenny Rodgers over here. I'm loving it. Depends on position, absolutely.
And make this known. 3rd down and 3. Blitz coming. It's picked up. Cowboys put the blitz on. Diggs was
Yep.
there and almost
Yep.
came down with it. With a half
Mind you, if I have 4-5, chances are I'm not in early position anyways, right? Because I don't like limping and I'm not opening in very many games with 4-5 suited. Closing, I might even squeeze. If there's a bunch of limpers, I play a 5-10 game, so if it goes 10-10, I might go 140 with 4-5.
So it looks like CeeDee Lamb is back to receive this punt.
That might add a wrinkle of value to him. I'll be right back, everybody.
Back to receive the kick, Johnny Hecker, one of the best in the league.
If you could mute me for a moment, Big Rye.
So the play is dead before it starts. And Hecker goes to the ground, but he's fine, we think.
John Fossil's on the attack, too.
False start. Offense, number 58. 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down. The action against the kicker did not warrant unnecessary roughness.
But it was a good try. And Justin Hollins, who they just picked up from Denver, was flagged. So it's 4th down.
So Hecker's back for this punt.
From the 27. Does it warrant it or well? It's Awuzie who had the interception.
A warrant debate. We've never had one.
Booming kick. Lamb backs up to the 50.
We'll see how coverage holds up after this excellent kick. CeeDee Lamb with a good return. Maybe like 15 yards.
So what do we have next week? Well, the pictures tell the story. New England at Seattle. Each 1-0 after opening day as Elliott takes the ball out to the 44-yard line. And that's going to take us to the 4th quarter. End of 3, 20-17 Los Angeles. Sunday Night Football. Back after these messages.
For over 90 years, Canadian homeowners and professionals have chosen steel to get the job done. Only at authorized dealers you'll find steel quality outdoor power equipment at affordable prices, with blowers starting at $199.95, chainsaws starting at only $259.95. Now with the free Wood Pro Kit. Fuel or battery products are available at over 1,000 steel dealers across Canada, where it's easy to find expert advice, on-site service, and Canada's #1 selling brand of gas-powered equipment. Find your dealer today at steel.ca.
Well, I'm going to cheat, Mickey.
Have you been playing in the makeup?
Your guess is pretty close.
You made a mess?
It's going to be Hawks -4.
Did you write on the floor with the marker?
Who got the paint out? Brother did?
Parents don't always get a straight answer, but when it comes
It's interesting to see, to think about what they've done with home field advantage for a team like New England traveling to Seattle.
artificial preservatives, only simple ingredients.
Still not sure what to make of home field advantage.
Create real change. And now that the everyday has changed, we're acting fast. Donating $1 million worth of Dove to the front lines, plus thousands of liters of hand soap and meals to vulnerable communities across Canada. No matter what everyday brings, it's every wash, dip, and scrub you take that helps us make a difference every day. Unilever.
This is an athlete 20 reps deep.
I can see 4 points. Seattle with Wilson is just a better team than, at least roster-wise.
Her strength respected. Depend. The only thing
And I didn't get a chance to watch that Seattle-Atlanta game today, but score-wise, it looks like Seattle played very well. We'll wait for the fat guy to get situated and to unmute himself.
That should be good.
I can hear you now. What do you think the opening line is for Seahawks hosting Pats next Sunday?
God, good question. Seattle minus 2.5.
That was Mickey's guess, and they opened at 3, and they've been bet up to 4.
That I like New England. I really like New England then.
John Stacy said Russell was really good. He was 31 for 35 with 4 touchdowns.
Oh, John, that's just the game I play at night. Like, I'll play 25-50 cent. It doesn't matter. That's just the game I've. And don't forget, it's Canadian dollars, so it's like 1-2 for you guys. I like any field. Yeah, 3 and over. Over 3, I think, is gravy. Yeah, Russell was really good. I still believe Wilson's the best player in the NFL. You can make the argument for Donald, Mahomes, Jackson, but I like, by a small fraction, I like Russell Wilson, even though he's not exactly my guy or anything. What a throw and catch.
Rams are plus 105 right now. Makes sense.
Yeah, makes
with the
sense.
Cowboys driving.
They can get wrong-footed and slightly out of position and still make the block. The one thing you know about Tyron Smith is if he gets his hands on you, you're not going anywhere.
That was Cooper on Ramsey, which I imagine has been the matchup all evening. Not that I've noticed, so Ramsey's probably doing a good job then. Dude, Pollard looks good too, man. And here's a good example. We're talking about running backs. There's a UDFA that started for Jacksonville.
James Robinson.
Yeah, he hasn't even had a preseason camp. He did fine.
He played really well.
Yeah, exactly.
I should say he played well with the ball in his hands. I'm not sure off ball how well he played. We're gonna have to rewatch the games to see.
But there has to be a certain level of pass protection for him to even get an opportunity like that. Oh, that could have been picked off really easy with that deflection.
3rd and 6 here. This could be the difference between the Cowboys taking the lead or for a chance to tie the game.
Yikes, man. You see Donald pull Connor Williams to the ground like a baby? Guy's over 300 pounds.
It's interesting, right? Because the offensive lineman puts that force forward, and what Donald's using is just using that guy's own body weight to bring him towards him and then swim through.
I believe Sir Isaac Newton would call that inertia.
There you go.
4th and 3. They're going for it. I like this. I really do. What do you think their percentage of getting this is? 60? 65?
No, not 65.
60?
I'd say 45.
Really? I'm more optimistic, I guess.
Big tackle, and they're short.
What a play. What a play. Is that John Johnson? Fuller right on.
Jordan Fuller.
Wow. Great tackle. Yeah, that was fantastic.
It's just that, you know what was so nice about that play is that that's really good awareness to come up and be aggressive and make that tackle, because either you come up and make that tackle or you're pretty much giving up a touchdown, because either way they're going to get a first down and 4 more shots at it, or you make that tackle. So just a really nice awareness play.
Well, I always thought that guys should do more like spread out arms sellouts to at least force another guy into a move. But then there's other times where I think they should play that game where they kind of just or standoffish in front of him, and then have a teammate perhaps run up and punch the ball. Because I don't know, like I always thought it was so difficult to cause a fumble, and then some of those games Peanut Tillman has as a cornerback for the Bears were astounding. I think he forced, was it against Tennessee 5 in a game against different players. So I don't know. I'm trying to think of interesting ways to kind of optimize defense because the rules are so far against you.
This is where, on that specific play, I feel like there's a reason why you say Russell Wilson is one of the best. Well, you say he's the best player in the game.
I think he's the best. Yeah.
He would have thrown CeeDee Lamb open there. I have to see that one again, but I feel like Prescott might have been a little bit behind Lamb, and that allows the defender to catch up and make that tackle. Whereas if he led him with a different angle, a little bit more out wide, that would be a first down or a touchdown.
Yeah, that's true.
It's simple ball placement like that I think people forget about with quarterbacks. Because it's one thing to get a completion, it's another thing to be able to lead a guy to open space so he can make a play with the ball.
Wilson has a range of passes though. Like his touch pass is the best in the league. He doesn't have as big arm as some of the players, but yeah, Mickey Hill Russ brings so many other things. It's just crazy. He's such a good leader. He's a positive guy. I think he makes everyone around him better. It's just hard. It's hard for me not to say that. And again, despite living in close proximity to Seattle, it's not my team. I never really cared for the Seahawks, especially the fair weather fans around here. But it's undeniable his excellence. So good. That's why it's hard to bet against him. Think of how much money we've probably lost betting against him. But you know, in the beginning though, there was a lot of value on him. You know, well, we made a very large bet one year on the Seahawks to make the Super Bowl. So I guess that might have made up for a lot of it. God, these guys are playing hard, both teams. Maybe it's because there's not as many fans, and we're just hearing some serious sound reverberations of helmets clacking and stuff.
Yeah, teams without fans are allowed to use 75 decibels of crowd noise.
Yeah, but it goes. It's the whole game, though.
Yeah, Vancouver's definitely a Hawks town. Everybody here is Seahawks fans. At least people who are NFL fans are more typically Seahawks fans.
Yeah, there's a lot of Patriots out here too, but that's just people chasing fandom. They like success, right?
Yeah.
Our immediate group of friends though is pretty different. We like Big Ryan and I kind of favorable to the Browns. I wear everything though, obviously. One of our good friends is a Panthers guy. Another one likes the Giants. I mean,
for the last few years, I've really felt teamless because the Browns have just been so disappointing. It's actually one of my least favorite teams, so it's hard to say the Browns are one of my favorites when they're lackluster with a lot of the things that they do.
To be honest, Big Ryan and I had a lot of all this stems. Big Ryan and I made a large bet for us at the time on the Chiefs to win over 7.5 games, and that was the year they won 9 in a row. So that went a long way. So we kind of owe a lot to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
We did a lot of homework that summer, and we handicapped that one because the Chiefs had the work.
That was the year when they picked up Andy Reid as a coach
and Alex Smith.
Yeah, that too.
Think about the win probability added right there. That's 7 wins right there.
Well, it is now. Looking back a few years ago, it wasn't as obvious to a lot of people.
But they had the best defense in the league. They were just on the field for 40 minutes the year before a game. Van Jefferson almost had that.
3rd and 4 for the Rams. Just under 10 minutes to go in the game.
Got a one-on-one down here at the bottom. Empty the backfield to try and make sure it is one-on-one. It is. He'll throw it deep.
Higbee with a nice catch.
I'm impressed with some of the ball placement here from Goff. He's had time, but Mickey said it best. He's a surgeon back there. These are right on the money. The no fans is adding a sound element that I'm kind of liking.
target, and that was a big conversion.
They were talking about in one of the games when plays were breaking down, receivers and tight ends were able to make verbal cues back to the quarterback that they were breaking off routes. And a sideline reporter was talking about how he's never been able to hear those calls being made on the field. So it just shows you how much of a difference it is to not have fans in the crowd for both of the offense and defense, and home and away. It doesn't really matter either way.
That was a nice run by Akers.
How good a fit was Clyde Edwards-Helaire though for Kansas City? But Cam Akers, a guy that, you know, it wasn't the best of football teams, it wasn't the best of offensive lines at Florida State, but
Yeah. I almost agree with Jake Jacobs talking about just cutting out the fake noise completely, because I'm liking the sound of these hits is fantastic. But that's just the problem, John, is if they hear all the communication, there are complications here. Because I think there's a certain word that's going to be said in the NFL field, and there's going to be a lot of F-bombs on the hockey rink. So that's what I want to hear too. I don't care, but
my goal for sports is I think it should be pay-per-view, and I think everything should be mic'd up.
Pay-per-view would be great. We don't have to have. There's no need for cable. Be happy to pay for it. But if you get an NFL package, you have to have everything else. It's garbage.
Yeah. Well, I like it because of the censorship stuff, because you can't put every athlete just on national TV with mics on. It doesn't work.
No.
But if it's pay-per-view, you can get away with that.
defensive back turns his back, you can make contact in the back, and Robert Woods was on that.
Censorship is alive and well these days, though. Adults should be able to speak their minds. Sometimes it's crass.
Because you know you have to get there, come down as hard as you can, and as soon as you get there, he turns his back. And
I think that was a quote from an NSYNC song.
Possible.
10-yard penalty. Repeat, third down.
4 more completions for Goff for Untouchable to hit his prop.
So here he comes down hard inside, and the minute
That looked like a block in the back.
Xavier Woods turned his back, made the play. It's a good play by him.
Puts it back to midfield.
I swear you could call stuff like that every 2 run plays. That really hurts them, though.
3rd and 10. They're going 5 wide, it looks like.
Yeah. Collingsworth saying this is their moment. I would have to agree. The pass rushers of the Cowboys.
Cowboys are really sitting back here in a zone. And they're going to get there. Alden Smith.
How'd they get there with 4? Wow.
Alden Smith has been fantastic tonight. I know the ball's come out so quickly that he really just has not had a chance to have a huge impact rushing the passer. This guy might end up with 15 sacks this year. I tell you, Al, he has been really impressive to me.
Got his life together. No mileage on him the last 5 years, at least in terms of football. Lamb is back to receive the kick. Johnny Hecker. Lamb calls with a fair catch.
Best punter in the league, doing his business. Not the greatest, but still decent. 11 yards. CeeDee Lamb. What do you think the chances are CeeDee Lamb gets a return touchdown this year? 4 to 1?
40%, 30%.
Yeah.
That gets noticed with a stunning LG Velvet 5G on Canada's largest 5G network.
We don't. There hasn't. I'm trying to remember how many return touchdowns there were last year.
6, 7.
On Canada's largest 5G network.
Being here matters. And healthy habits in the classroom can help.
Yeah, there was 7 last year for kick returns.
A program from Lysol dedicated to
Wow. Look at me handicap on the fly.
by teaching healthy habits, partnering with medical professionals, and Army schools
For-
with smart thermometers. Because together, we can make sure children understand the importance of being healthy here. Learn about our mission at Lysol.ca.
Have you been playing in the makeup? No. No?
You made a mess? No. Did Connor make this mess? Did you write on the floor with the marker? No.
Who got the paint out? Brother did?
Parents don't always get a straight answer, but when it comes to what you feed your kids, Maple Leaf Natural Selections puts the ingredients right on the front of the pack. And that's something we're proud of. No artificial preservatives, only simple ingredients.
You like highlights? I think we're going to have some highlights. A jam-packed week one wraps up.
It looks like there was 7 punt return touchdowns last season.
Oh, I'm on fire, pal.
So what's that?
Games with the Cowboys. This one in 15. Cowboys beat the Giants 27-26. Tony Romo
25% seems like a pretty good spot on.
Yeah. A lot of teams don't even let you return the ball.
Yeah.
City at the Chargers. So let's clean up after. Absolutely.
Look at Zaps monitoring the market efficiently. You know what's funny?
That's awesome to see.
It's great to see. It's fantastic.
And that makes sense because the Bengals had a close loss in a game that they definitely could have won, and the Browns got blown away and looked terrible. So
You know what's funny about
makes
this?
sense.
I like the Bengals at 7.5. I like the Browns at minus 5.5. 6 feels
Well,
about
6
right.
and 7 are key numbers.
Yeah, 5.5 though. I don't mind the Browns. No, that'd be a good middle. Here's the thing about middling Zaps. If you were able to have gotten the Bengals at 7.5, you could wait till the line perhaps goes to 6 or 5.5, and then a 7 or a 6 victory. It's that would be worth both bets because assuming you made them at the same weight.
I still think there's value on Cleveland at 6.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
how
yeah.
the market is at this moment. Considering, I don't think I'd touch the Browns at 7.5.
No way. I'd easily take the Bengals 7.5.
Big hit by Ramsey. There's no way that this is going to count as a catch fumble. But either way, that was 3rd and 5, so that'll be 4th and 5. And you got a feeling Dallas is going to punt here, but they're reaching a point in this game where they got to make a decision.
These boys are hitting. Jay Jacobs says great defense. Couldn't agree more. This is some good football. This is a good game.
Just really good awareness by Ramsey.
Oh, and he switched assignments, but he shouldn't have danced when the ball was on the ground. He made a football move. And then move the Pat 6 is the new 7. Not quite, Mickey. It's very close though.
It's
He
definitely
did
not
turn.
as hard cut at 7, Mickey. You're right, but it's still more likely teams are going to get their Pats than not.
I think there were 2 missed today.
There was a lot of missed kicks today.
No, 2 Pats specifically.
Jake's saying this is the highest quality game for week 1. Probably the most evenly matched.
This is the highest quality game for week 1. It might be.
Chargers
NFL
Bengals
is
was pretty
good at
evenly.
scheduling.
Yeah, Chargers Bengals was actually pretty evenly matched game. But definitely not as the same quality as these two.
Man, he dumped on Cooper. He shouldn't have danced around though. Like, just try and get it. If you're a lineman, dive on it. If you're a DB, scoop and carry. Most athletic.
Who was it? Who was the lineman that just picked the ball up? Was it Clowney? I know Clowney did it that in college. He picked it up with one hand.
Fletcher Cox did that once.
Yeah, I think it was Fletcher Cox.
And he just held it like in front of him.
I just
like
remember
a
guy like scooped, like literally palmed the ball with one hand and picked it up.
Okay.
I think that's the right call. And
I don't know what a fumble is anymore, so I would imagine the viewers are the same. The thing is, like, in real time, it didn't look at all like that. It looked like an incomplete pass. But then you slow it down and you see him turn. Like, I don't know. That's the thing. Like, that's a football move to me.
The only reffing stuff I didn't like today was Kyler Murray got 2 calls for sliding and getting hit. And I thought they were weak calls.
Jay is on fire gambling, apparently.
Markets are also pounding the Chiefs, unsurprisingly. Open at 6.5 and now 8.5 against the Chargers. The Chargers didn't look good, and the Chiefs look great, so that I can see the books adjusting. Because Chiefs are probably, 11-win team, and Chargers are a 6-win team, 7-win team.
Yeah, that's about right.
Is it in Kansas City or is it in LA? If it's in LA,
it's got to be in LA. Zivona with a great callback to the tuck rule. Probably the God. Al Davis said it was the worst day of his life.
Yeah, Mickey, we're going to be doing the same. It's just the fat guy does have a rule where he doesn't like to bet against the best team in the league or for the worst team in the league. He usually likes to cross those teams out, and the Chiefs might get that. It depends on the value of the line. At 8.5, it's like you're leaning towards it. If it was 10 or 10.5, I'd feel a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, but it's early market, so there's a chance it could swing that way.
Yeah, well, it already has 2 points. Like 6.5
That's what
to
I mean.
8.5 is
a week to go. Those are early betters. For the video, I think you guys know what we would do, but maybe if we're lucky, we'll find a 9 by then, somewhere in the ether.
We're going to work on the video tonight, and then we're going to schedule it to come out at 9 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. So you guys will have that to look forward to in the morning.
I'll listen to it while I work out at 6 a.m. My girlfriend laughed.
The best thing is, like, there's a 10% chance you're not joking.
Yeah.
But her laugh says it all.
Generally, if you can get about 10 points, it's often a bet. Yeah, I completely agree. I don't see the old bootleg. Yeah. It's like the golden rule is the NFL used to be double-digit dogs at home was an auto bet, and it's not quite as good anymore because markets are obviously getting better as the years go by. But I think though with recreational gambling in the United States, the markets might have an immaturity slide eventually, right? As it gets more popular and there's more squares, but then it could also get balanced by sharp guys because I'm sure there's a sharp community in every state too. It's just what's the balance?
It just means that sharps are going to bet with more money. That's all it tells me.
Yeah. Mickey's saying that rule would have saved me money on the Ravens. Yeah, exactly. I always had this theory, Mickey, that the best teams can control a game, in that they can choose how much they win by, pretty much, and that the worst teams, even when they win, they can't control a game. So I usually, when I was putting reasonable wagers, like 1 unit plus, then that would be multi-unit games. it would always be between those teams in the middle. Because a lot of teams that are 9 and 7 are just as good as teams that are 7 and 9. And then you'll get like 6.5 on a game between two of those teams, and that's just way too much, right? Should be 3 for the home team or 2.5. Let's see if the Rams can convert here. This is going to go a lot to win percentage. They're able to make this 3rd and 3. This is looking good.
He at least got down to keep the clock moving. But Dallas is going to have a chance to win this game. Well, actually, the Rams have a decision here to make.
I would kill for a fake punt here.
I think they should line up and just go for it.
Lost that prop. Could be overtime there, Jay.
Well, they're lining up for the punt.
Yeah, see, Zivona, you're completely right. It's not hard for them to do it, to learn to do it, but it's hard for them to actually do it. Because a recreational bettor is always going to, not always, but they're generally not going to sharpen.
They're going to bet whoever they think the better team is.
Generally speaking, right?
Regardless of the line, regardless of the math.
It's kind of like all the vitriol we deal with every week, taking teams like Washington and Jacksonville, right? And Cleveland, for that matter.
Well, here we go. Well, they've got to go 91 yards for a touchdown.
And the Rams still have 2 timeouts, too.
A good tackle by Ramsey.
Such a good hit. Great job, Ramsey. Starting to show up, but don't, man, like, there's... Celebrate after the game, man. Can't stand when they get all crazy. This game is still very live. Overtime? LOL.
Tennessee is about to allow sports gambling, but the lawmakers imposed a 10% hold on the profits. So basically, I think we're going to get minus 120 point spreads. I'll keep betting offshore.
Yeah.
I suppose there are smart rec bettors and dumb rec bettors. Usually, you could just eliminate rec if they're a smart bettor, because there's not that many people that are betting recreationally that are smart bettors.
It's just a phenomenon, like, and even if you tell them, if you showed them the math, they still won't do it. Kind of reminds me of the market. Yeah, I dip my toe in the stock markets at Vono, so I can only imagine. Yeah, Tennessee is about to allow sports betting. Yeah, going back to Jake Jacobs' comment, minus 120 is so hard to beat, so hard to beat.
Yeah.
So I don't blame them. Offshore, you usually get better than minus 110. So, but then again, it's going to. The one thing though is, I wonder if those will be independent, and it's and there's a chance that like the lines are way off from conventional ones, if it's if it's statewide, right? But maybe they don't do adjustments. I'm not sure. The way they do it out where we live is insane. If a team wins by 3, that's considered a tie. So there's wins, losses, and ties, and they charge about minus 120, and there's 3 outcomes.
So it's safe to say not a lot of people do it. Well, not a lot of sharp bettors wouldn't.
The one thing you can do, though, is they offer Super Bowl props once a year where we live, and you're allowed to bet with covariance. So 2 results that are linked. I.e., you could bet, like, 1 year I bet, you can only do $20 maximum. I went to the 7-Eleven, you have to fill it out, and I filled out 100 tickets on over 9.5 punts and under in the game. And then I filled out 100 tickets and at under 9.5 punts and over on the game. So I forget which game Super Bowl it was, but it was a decent payday. But they canceled them all 1 year though, because a bunch of guys like me made a killing. But that's just local lottery people don't know what the hell they're doing. I'm wondering if anyone has a DraftKings account, if they look at some of the lines that come out, they're hilarious. I have a good friend in New Jersey, and they offer this boost factor where like a team that's plus 130 all of a sudden becomes plus 180, and they're always a point off of Pinnacle. So I'm wondering what they're doing. I feel like it's a testing ground. Cooper's really only got a yard on that because he kept his balance.
The Rams might be playing a little bit too loose here.
I hope not.
Oh, there they go. There's a sack.
Yes.
Leonard Floyd making an appearance.
Former first rounder from Chicago Bears out of Georgia. Or is it Georgia Tech? I'm pretty sure it's Georgia.
3rd and 13 for Dallas. This is a big play for them. Prescott takes off.
We're getting there.
He's just short. This clock is going to be running. Clock is running while there's confusion. They're going to lose a lot of time here.
Zivono, yeah. Canceling bets is total BS. Complete. But that's the thing.
Look at how much room
Cooper
Cooper has up top.
Oh, what are they doing?
And they get
that was such a good run.
Dallas is kind of losing their. They're losing a lot of seconds here with how they've called this so far. That drop is actually the best thing that could have happened to them.
Yeah, if he caught it, that would have been brutal.
Especially canceling bets when you have maximum set and the max is $20. Like, that's a little bit ridiculous, but
I filled out. Well, I bought 4,000 in tickets that day. So I mean, I don't know. That probably set off some alarm bells, and I don't think I was the only guy doing it. That's what I mean. They didn't cancel those ones. They canceled them the next year, like during the game. But it's a government lottery corporation, so. I applied for a job there, and I never got a call back. They're lost.
3rd and 10, 31 seconds left. Dallas on their own 34-yard line.
They're really looking to tie here.
Going long. Michael Gallup with the catch. And there's a flag on the play.
Is it offensive pass interference?
Ramsey's making it look like it.
Yeah, but he's a diva. I don't know if he's accurate. Oh, right on.
I don't like that call.
I don't see it.
He does. He uses like his wrist to push off, but to make that play
Ramsey
at the end of the
stole
game
it.
like this because of this.
Come on. I'm not giving that at all. That's nothing. Oh, Ramsey sold it well. Yeah, I'm going to agree with that.
3rd and 20 now for the Cowboys. 21 seconds left. They still have one timeout.
Keep them in bounds. Oh,
he throws that out of bounds. 13 seconds left. It's going to be 4th and 20. Dallas still has one timeout.
Were you surprised they went Ramsey's way that time to Gallup?
Well, Gallup has been the guy traditionally for those contested catches. That's his game. You know, his game is you may not be wide open, but when the ball's coming down, he's going to find a way to catch it. The arm is there, and Ramsey's going to kind of lean back.
Dak sucks. Come on, Jay. He doesn't suck. You would rather Wentz over Dak? Not me.
So 4th and 20 here. Cowboys backs against the wall. And it looks like the Rams are probably going to take a timeout.
This would be hilarious if the Cowboys did. Very McCarthyist.
Yeah. So Untouchable Jay says, as an Eagles fan, this is haha. Mickey Hill called it offensive interference. John did too, OPI. That should be a no call according to Jake. Ramsey sold it. Zap says horrible call. First angle showed it best. And Dak sucks from an Eagles fan perspective. That was... I've got money on the Rams, and I think that was a BS call.
I'm agreeing. I don't think that's enough. Especially the I don't know. Not that it should matter when it happens in the game, but like, it's hard. It's hard to take that away from Dallas.
I don't think they would have called that if it was the first play of the game. Never mind, at the end. So barring any flags, this game is over.
Rams win. Rams cover. Right on, boys. It looks like everyone in the chat did well on this game, though. This is a huge win for the Rams, I feel like. This feels like a midseason game. They're jacked, and they should be. Victory formation.
That was a turnover on downs after a bad call. That is right, Zipvono.
Yeah. Huge win, Rams.
Well, Fat Guy, you have any closing remarks?
This was an enjoyable stream. Thanks for everyone for joining. I thought this was probably the best. This is the best game of the week so far, or the day rather, which is the week. I doubt anything's going to be better than this. I thought it was quality from both sides.
Yeah, it was ruined a little bit by that call at the end. If this catch stands, they take their timeout. They still have 20 seconds or so. They probably get 1 or 2 shots at the end zone, and then a chance at a field goal to tie it up for OT. So I feel like we got a little bit cheated here. I'm sure Dallas Cowboy fans are going to have this to sit on all year as an excuse if things don't go their way.
The one thing is I can say is one thing I can say for sure is this is going to be a huge talking point in talk radio tomorrow.
Yeah, that's for sure. Even in our chat when this happened, I think 7 of you piped up saying this was bullshit. So I guess Washington decided they wanted to be more like a real football team. $100 million actor. I forgot the red rifle is a Cowboy now. Yeah, I was noticed that. The kind where you use your feet to kick a ball.
Yeah. They've been doing it in Europe for hundreds of years, but
yeah, it was too bad on your prop, Untouchable Jay.
Well, I mean, for Jay, he needed that catch because then he can possibly go to overtime. Andy Dalton's happy. Happy that he's the incumbent to a losing quarterback. Maybe you can sneak in there.
We're gonna call the stream, guys, because Fat Guy and I have the video to work on for tonight to make our picks, and it's gonna be out early tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern time was what I'm planning to schedule it for. So barring any disaster tonight, we'll have that video out ready to go tomorrow morning. Any other things you want to say?
Nope. We got to get to it. I got some questions, so.
All right, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for joining us for the stream, and then we're going to be back tomorrow night for the Tennessee game. You want to say that?
Yeah. I don't know what time it is, but yeah.
That's the late Monday night game. It's, I think, 7:20 Eastern and 10:20 Eastern, 7:20 Pacific. So it'll be after the first Monday night game.
Sweet dreams of Chase Daniel. You know it every evening. See you guys tomorrow. Awesome having you.
Have a good night, guys.